Rocking and rolling, let her rip Friday. It's only me. It's only the Kimmer with Pete Davis, sidekick producer and sports raconteur extraordinaire, and the mechanical mangler at the controls, Philander. Let her rip Friday. Anything goes. It's your show. How's it going? God bless America. Ripping and ropping, having fun till 6. Tuesday sucks and so do you. Wednesday blows and I don't queue. It's Friday. I'm in love. Boy, we got more stuff today than we'll ever get in. Well, you'll be hearing from some funny senator sound bites. Also taking on the trannies, RFK complaining, and for good reason. Also, more scandal on the Biden of crime family. Saturday! Look out. Oh, we got a million stories. We got poems. We got a scandal involving the divider-in-chief Barack Hussein Putty Tats, apparently murdered chef out there. Now there's something fishy going on. Also, have you heard the strange story of the Mitch McConnell having like a mini stroke the other day caused by the touch of a woman's finger at the podium? I don't know, man. It sounds a little weird. Also, the kidnapped girl, hoax girl, has been charged with a crime. We just heard that on the news a minute ago. We got a billion things. Pete Davis. We've got food matchups. We found America's former journalistic organization we all used to watch has now come up with found one family who's fleeing Florida. So
the boxes in the background were really nice touch.
Had to look long and hard, and they finally found someone so they could say, see, they're fleeing Florida from you Republicans. Oh, my God. Anyway, I didn't even get I got a couple of birthdays here, too, before we go. I haven't even started. I don't even know what I'm doing here. Very screwing around here like an idiot. Hold on. I got this, and this. Oh, I've also, somebody came up on one of these social media things, came up with, asked people to give the best joke they've ever heard. And wait till you hear what some of them think they are. Also, quick birthday. Sally Struthers, formerly Gloria All in the Family. Sally Struthers is 76 today. I think she turned into some kind of screaming socialist, if I'm not mistaken. The guy who created Garfield cartoon, Jim Davis, 78 years old today. All right, hold on, we'll get that over there. Now, here's, by the way, we love phone calls. I know you don't, but we love phone calls, and here's our number, 404-741-1230, 741-1230. And when you call in, we'll put you on hold. You can hear the show, so you're not missing anything. Everything's good and good. Man, we got so many weird stories. I want to talk at length about this, about the business with a fake. We didn't have any idea when the story broke yesterday about the fake collusion between the Department of Justice under President Pants on Fire and the Hunter Biden's attorneys to cheat the possibility of him actually standing trial for, and facing justice, including getting away with all the foreign registration crimes and everything else. Well, we had no idea about the duplicity, and Andy McCarthy made the point, I'll talk more about it a little bit later on, made the point that the lawyers actually hid the document that said, by the way, we don't want to charge you in that crime, and tried to fake the judge out. Thank God. She's got to be person of the year. I mean, this could lead, remember, this could lead to the final nail. This could lead to impeachment. This could lead to finally Democrats saying, oh, my God, he is a crook. Maybe not, but anyway, Pete Davis, you there? I can't hear anything.
I am there. Greetings from the mountains where every day is Groundhog Day.
There. As it should be. Anyway, I've got, and Flounder, how are you doing? Anything new since you with Miss Veronica? Okay, just
same old.
Same old. Okay, that's very good. And is she listening to the program when she gets a chance?
When she has the chance, she does. Yeah.
All right. Well, send along our best because I hope everything. Now, any plans for the weekend? This being Friday,
going up to the lake for Saturday and coming back Sunday.
Is this a Lake Burton thing again?
No, Lake Hartwell.
Lake Hartwell. Yeah, nice. Haven't been there in a very long time. Well, that's good. And Pete Davis, any plans for you, sir?
I'm making homemade ice cream this weekend.
Oh, well, now how do you make your homemade ice cream?
Well, basically, you get the cream and the whipping cream and the heavy cream.
Well, now wait a minute. Well, I mean, do you put is it just cream and ice and sugar? I mean, what do you put in to make homemade ice cream?
Oh, but it's milk, it's heavy cream, it's whipping cream, it's all kinds of good stuff. Cornstarch goes in it as well.
See, I didn't know that.
The rock salt and all that. You mix it up. You don't have to hand crank anymore. They got the motorized ones, but I got all the mixins last night. So
I'll be damned. And do you put? You said rock salt. Do you put ice in there also to make the?
Yeah. You have to surround it with ice and rock salt.
Yeah, I remember doing it with my grandfather and my grandmother, the Peterson, my dad's parents, they're farmers. Growing as a kid with the old hand crank thing. Oh my God, we used to. I remember sitting out on her porch shucking peas.
Yeah. We used to do that. We used to shell the beans and listen to Jerry Clower records.
Shoot the dog!
Someone shoot up in this tree. I gotta have some relief.
I said, "Oh, mama." Anyway, I'm going to do a couple of update things, and something I had never known before, and this could be a tip that could save you a whole bunch of problems and hassles. First of all, we got a very nice note here on my Facebook page from Danny, and he says, I just wanted to thank you for mentioning that To Kill a Mockingbird was on TV the other night. I've loved this movie since I read the book in school. It's my favorite, too. And Danny wanted to say thank you because I tried to get Pete Davis to watch the stupid movie. You've never even read the book, have you?
Never will.
See, that to me is amazing because it's a classic. Mm-hmm. And you're a writer. You're a journalistic writing.
And she came out with a sequel a few years ago and basically said it was all BS and that it turned out he wasn't a hero, that he was a racist.
It's still a book. Oh my God!
Please, I was right the whole time not to read it.
Oh Lordy! All right, now I got one more. I got to get my stupid. I got too many things going on in my head. I don't like having all this stuff. I got headphones and I got ear rockets and I got glass. It's just crap. It's a bunch of crap, I tell you. Now, all right, check this out because I did not know this. By the way, it's 3:10. I'm sorry, we haven't even done any new stuff yet. We'll get to it. In fact, it's Friday. Maybe we'll get to it later. And maybe we'll just do Flounder's Follies for like 2 hours. How about that? All right, here we go. Check this out because I did not know this, and this is important. I think this is real. Michael sent this along. It was passed along on social media. Please be aware when answering your phone from a friend. I just got a call from a 304 area code thinking it was someone I know in West Virginia. I answered. It was a man claiming to be from customer service. He didn't say what company, only, hi, I'm Bill from customer service. The first thing he asked was, can you hear me? Can you hear me? I remembered something I saw on Facebook saying that people are calling and asking if you can hear them, then using your recording of you saying yes as a way to sign you up for all kinds of stuff that you didn't know about. So when he said, can you hear me? I replied, I hear you. To which he again asked, can you hear me? I said, I hear you. He said, I just need a yes or no. I said, I hear you. And he hung up. Thanks to whoever posted that story, I probably would have answered yes the first time he asked. I had not heard this before. You think is this true? Is this legit? They can use a recording of you saying yes to get you into stuff?
I think that's kind of a light way to do that. Legally, just saying yes over a phone line?
Well, I don't know. I mean, again, it sounds a little...
That's why a lot of times the first thing they ask you, are you Kimmer?
Yeah. Yes, yeah. And again, I don't... This is the first I've heard of it, but nothing would surprise me. Honestly, nothing would surprise me anymore.
Hey, Kimmer.
Yeah.
Are you going to be in Monday?
No. Maybe. If I feel like it.
Well, I'll ask you something later. You'll say it.
Hey, by the way, I've taken my route home last night. I put in my new, thanks to New Nick, the intern, my new Waze without going on a highway app thing, and I took a route I've never gone before. And this morning, coming into work, I decided to do it, not even going. The other day, I went down 400 to Northridge. I got off and then go the back roads because that's just a quick drive there on Northridge to 400. Anyway, so today I didn't go on 400 at all. I went all back roads, and it took about the same time. And again, it was another route I'd never gone before. I've seen streets I've never seen before. which I thought was fairly bizarre. We're traveling Route 66. But again, it was cool. And the only thing is, you have stoplights and some little stuff and a slower speed. But I'm so much calmer. I didn't have to try to cut anybody off. I didn't know anybody trying to, dodge in front of me. So it was nice.
You can go Roswell Road all the way almost, where the Whole Foods is.
Yeah.
And you take a right there, and that'll take you down a bunch of neighborhoods.
Yeah.
And kill both of you.
Yeah, no, but again, I'm having so much fun. I'm actually looking forward to seeing where I'm going home tonight. I really am. It's just so much easier on and again, because there's concerts. Concert tonight, concert tomorrow, concert on Sunday. So, the better I can get to where I'm going without traffic issues, I'm happy. All right,
how about this? How would we hire someone to go there at 6 o'clock every day, pound you in the head till they knock you unconscious, put you in a sack, and where you wake up at your house?
I like it. It should be a lot easier. 3:13 already. Is that a phone call? I think that's it could be Scotty coming up. Don't go anywhere. And we got a million things coming up, and we'll start them very shortly here on 106.3. Look out. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. Look out, it's only me. It's only the Kimmer. How's it going? 3:17 exactly boing right now. At 106.3 with Pete Davis and Flounder and New Nick's back there. How's it got the whole crew here on your Letter Rip Friday? Here's the phone number, 404-741-1230, 741-1230. This is ZZ Top. And it was 2 years ago on this day, musician, bass player Dusty Hill of ZZ Top died at the age of 72 in 1968. Dusty Hill and the drummer Frank Beard joined the guitarist Billy Gibbons in ZZ Top. They went on to release 15 studio albums, sold an estimated 50 million records, ZZ Top, worldwide, including Eliminator 83, which featured 2 top 40 singles, Give Me All Your Lovin' and my favorite, Legs. That was when I heard that, every time I hear that song, it's just a great beat. Great song. Quick birthday, TV producer Dick Ebersol is 76 today. I guess I don't know whether he's still working in the TV business or not, but he's there. Let's see. World history, 1914, World War I. Assassination to the heir to the Austria-Hungarian throne, Archduke Franz Ferdinand. Austria-Hungary declared war on Serbia, and the alliances began back when Russia and America were buddies and wartime stuff. Anyway, how you doing? It's only me. It's only the Kipper. Let It Rip Friday. Anything goes, happens, and fun. Let's get to the phones. We got newsy stuff, and you'll hear from a lot of big-time newsmakers. First, it's Scotty the window guy on the radio. Let It Rip Friday. Scotty, how's it going?
Hey,
hello.
Welcome home, brother. Simplified.
Thank you, sir.
Hey, I think I called a couple of days ago talking about this chef for the Obamas.
Yep.
And I told you there was something funny going on with all this new Biden stuff coming up. You think that that might have a little bit to
well,
do with,
let's
get rid of him? Maybe that Obama about some of this stuff too?
Well, let's bring Pete Davis in here. Pete, what's the latest? Now we're getting a lack of information about what really happened and who reported the chef drowning in the pond outside the Putty Tat compound anyway. What's the latest on that?
Well, the Daily Mail said yesterday, the police say everything's fine. There's, there was no weirdness to this. It's an accident whatsoever. And then we find out today that the call log, where every call log to 911 was intricately written down by the police or whoever was doing it, that one was mysteriously left blank about who was the second person who called in. When they got there, is a little different story about who was out there looking for him, who wasn't. At first, he had hit his head. Then they say, no, he didn't hit his head. And the whole thing is, you're holding on to a paddle. Basically you have a paddle which floats. Yeah. You're on a paddle board that floats, and you drown in 7 feet of water. It just doesn't make a... And then, of course, they lied and said he couldn't swim. And, of course, he can swim because we have the video.
We saw the video of him doing laps, for crying out loud.
And we don't know whether the Obama say they weren't there, but now we don't know if that was true or not. I mean, it just seems very bizarre that 2 chefs from the White House would drown a few years apart, one in New Mexico and now one barely outside of the compound. And there are questions coming up. It may not be anything, but it just, there's always a mystery.
Well, how is it possible that there was somebody who made the 911 call 2 miles away?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't understand. In other words, did someone call that person? Was that Putty Tat out shopping at the mall or something? And someone said, hey, your chef's drowning. He said, well, I'll call them. I mean, who called who, and how did the person 2 miles away know that the guy was drowning? I mean, how could a guy 2 miles away call 911 about a guy drowning 2 miles away?
I don't know how a chef can screw up marinating himself.
But I mean, seriously, how is it possible a guy 2 miles away can make a 911 call?
Wait,
somebody called. I mean, somebody did. I mean, unless he saw him drowning and then said, "I'm going to get out of here," and then realized 2 minutes later, well, I guess I call him after all. I mean, there's somebody has to explain who made the call. What phone call was attributed to the 911 call? And clearly, they can find that out. They know that it's captured. And how come they didn't put down in the every other entry of every other call is in the log except that one?
Okay, the weird thing is, every time something like this happens with the Clintons or Obamas, there's always some weirdness. It can never be just black and white. Right. There it is. Right. Here's the evidence. And there's always something weird about it. It always involves the Obamas and the Clintons.
Yeah. Yeah, there you are. Hey, absolutely right. I mean, how come and by the way, that hits it on head. Scotty, do you have any possible explanation for this?
Hey, did you cut me off, or am I still on?
No, you're still right. You're still there, my friend. Oh, ups a daisy. Well, that could be bad.
I'm just saying that, when I called the other day, it just sounded kind of funny because I remembered the story about the drowning in Mexico. Yeah. And then with all this Biden stuff coming up, I think it's linked to Obama, too. I would not say that he's clean, honestly. Yeah. I think that it's kind of getting deeper. Comer, love this guy. But I thought it was kind of funny that this guy who could swim very well was clinging onto a 9-foot life raft in 8 feet of water, and had a thought. Literally, everybody's been in a pool. 8 foot deep, you can literally sink and jump right back up and get above water.
Yeah.
So I just think it's funny, and I want to give a shout out to all the YouTube Mafia. I'll be on there soon. I'm about 30 minutes away from home.
All right, there you go, Scotty. YouTube Mafia is just monitoring the Kimmer Afternoon Show here.
Frankly, the only way I saw this happening is either he had some kind of health issue or he had hit his head, and now they say he didn't hit his head.
Again, why is it a mystery? How could it be that hard to solve a mystery? People were seeing him. Somebody saw him struggling and falling off the board, right? I mean, so how is it possible? And they found the body, so... I mean, I don't get any of this, why there's this mystery and phone calls and blank
this
things
is the
on the
president's
police.
home. Is there any video cameras?
I mean, we must be security footage, I'll bet you. Anyway, the whole thing sucks. By the way, I forgot to mention, if you haven't heard the Nancy Mace story, which I think is hysterical, and she's getting ripped by the far-right Christian community for her comment she made on the other day, and frankly, I'm getting a tingle just thinking about it. I want a woman like this. Oh my God, this is a perfect woman. Well, I shouldn't say that, but I mean, what a great attitude for a very high functioning, important, significant, prestigious, power labeled female in the workforce. What a great attitude. I love it. I get all tingly just thinking about it. Of course, well, this is like, she's living in sin. And go, well, fine. I mean, my God. Anyway, we'll talk about that. But here's why. In fact, let's do this out of order. Let's do I'm going to talk about the Mitch McConnell thing. This doesn't make, in fact, Flounder just saw this and sent it here a moment ago. And we're going to come back after the break later and talk more about this. But we all know the story. We played the soundbite for you yesterday, I guess it was. And Mitch McConnell was at the podium and suddenly stopped talking, went into kind of what I call a mini stroke, a TIA, we used to call them. And they're like a mini stroke where you just kind of freeze and you're not yourself, and then you eventually come out of it. But it's a sign that you got a problem. Anyway, and Mitch McConnell later came back and said, "Oh, I'm fine, no big deal." Hasn't talked about whether he saw the doctor. We don't know whether he got checked. It's just amazing to me. But anyway, here's the problem. I found her. I'm not sure what the group is called, truth.com or something. What is it? Some website or some I
don't want to say conspiracy theory or anything like that, but one of those kind of websites where there's all kinds of
well, here's what they did. They showed the video. They slowed down the video at the podium. Pete, have you seen this yet? Flounder just showed it to me a minute ago.
Yeah, he sent it to me right before the show, and I'm sitting there looking at it going, what the hell?
It's
like a joke, like they were pulling a joke on it.
I know. Well, here's the story. Mitch McConnell at the podium, right before he starts to freeze, you can see in very slow motion, they show a woman walking behind the guys next to Mitch at the podium. This woman kind of slowly appears in the scene, walking toward him at the podium from his right. Stage left, view left. And she walks toward him, and when she reaches out with her finger and touches his hand, and he freezes.
Oh, but there's more than that, because the guy behind him, who's another senator, right? The tall guy?
Yeah.
He leans over and says something to her, and they kind of share a laugh with each other, and then he leans back and watches as she goes up and touches Mitch, and then he leans around and looks at Mitch's face to see what Mitch is doing.
I mean, it's just, it could be just, that's coincidence of all time. But when they slow it down, you look at it thinking, okay, ready to touch and freeze.
Mind when you're young, you run your feet on the carpet and then you go touch somebody with static
electricity. Yeah, maybe he got a shock. Maybe he got electric shock and it froze him because he's old. I don't know.
Circuit.
But it's a damned as some freaking conspiracy theory.
Did you ever see that movie with Matt Damon, The Adjustment Bureau?
No.
Oh, yes, I did. They changed what you want to say. Don't let you say what you want to say or something. I've forgotten what exact censorship.
There's higher ups.
Yeah.
Everybody's on a plan, and he sidesteps his plan, and it's like a higher being or something like that. And kind of
something is very, very fishy. Anyway, we'll talk more about the Mitch McConnell thing. Also, the Babylon Bee is going to step in on this. And Nancy, I'll tell you what, 327. We also have Flounder's Funnies coming up. Flounder, let's get a Nancy Mace cut. I want to do it before I forget. And I'm going to talk more about the comments on the incredible crime of trying to cheat the Hunter Biden case with that phony deal they made, and a billion other things too. But first of all, Nancy Mace, man, she's I love this girl. She was at the prayer breakfast the other day, and if you haven't heard the soundbite, it's worth playing again for you right now. When she was going to be late for the prayer breakfast and told her boyfriend, "I really don't want to be late today."
But want to thank you for pulling this together. Another year, another standing room only event. And when I woke up this morning at 7, I was getting picked up at 7:45. Patrick, my fiance, tried to pull me by my waist over this morning in bed. And I was like, no, baby, we don't got time for that this morning.
Oh, my God.
I got to get to the prayer breakfast.
I want you.
And I got to be on time.
Be with you.
And a little TMI. But he can wait. I'll see him later tonight. But I was here early today for you, Tim, and I think everybody,
Senator,
everybody was here
Tim
early for you today.
Yeah.
Really not the appropriate place to talk about
at
that.
the prayer breakfast, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, as she pointed out, there's sex in the Bible.
Yeah.
I mean, read Song of Songs. Come on.
Well, here's what some of the reaction was. An associate pastor of the Grace Baptist Church in Florida said, "How thoughtful for Nancy Mace to delay fornication so she could show up on time for the Tim Scott's prayer breakfast. Reminds me of a line from that old song, everybody talking about heaven ain't going there."
Lighten up, Francis.
Another pastor said, "I'll have to have an extra little talk about on my sermon on Sunday now." Someone said Nancy just turned down sex from her not husband, but her fiance this morning in bed because she had to get to the prayer breakfast. I'll take what is the sin for 500, Alex?
No, people need to play.
I know. I mean, seems a little goofy. Also, she did have a comment you'll hear here in a minute concerning the unfairness between what happens to Republicans and what happens to Democrats. And we're seeing it again. It's even worse than we thought. I can't get over the plea deal they made and really how evil it is. How evil it is. Coming up at 3:30 already and a whole bunch more with the Kipper, Pete Flounder, and New Nick. All right, look out. Here we go. la. Look out. It's only me. It's only the Kimmer 333. With Pete Davidson, Flounder, and New Nicks back there. With Tom Petty on this day in 2014. Big release. Greedy Jesus? Is that what he said? Was that what he said?
This is just a track off the album on the music sheet.
Can you play that one again from the beginning? I think he said Greedy Jesus. That can't be right. Let's hear it again. Well, come on. Come on.
3D.
Oh, 3D Jesus in a picture?
3D.
It's Tom Petty. On this day in 2014, Reprise Records released Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers' 13th album, Hypnotic Eye. It debuted at #1, Billboard. First Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers album to top the chart. I can't believe it. What happened to Bad to the Not Bad? What's the one I like? I Won't Back Down. That's the song. That's the one I like. I thought that was it, and that album wasn't his #1 album. I can't believe it. Well, whatever. I don't know anything about anything. Hey, for a quick birthday, CBS Biden advocate and liberal Scott Pelley is 66 today. Yeah. Oh, it's this day, 1978, a world record. The price of gold soaring because of the weakness of the American greenback. In 1978, gold prices on the bullion market hit, how much do you think, boys? 1978, world record gold price in 1978. Well, hell, Pete wasn't even, you guys weren't even born. Well, I'll just tell you. The price of gold, record price of gold in the bullion market in 1978, $200 an ounce. You know what it is today? From $200 an ounce, $1,953.40. And
I'm stopping the rest of the show. I'm going down to the creek to do a little panning.
I remember very well when, in fact, I talked to my banker guy. This was back in like 1980 or 85 or something, and I wasn't really making any money back then, but I was kind of beginning to make a little bit or something. And I said, I see gold has gone up to like $300 an ounce. I said, should I be buying some of this stuff? And he said, oh well, I'm sorry, it's a long end. And I'm thinking to myself, of course, if you look over the last 30 years, maybe you could get more of an investment by percentage. But if you had taken, I probably could have tried to figure this out. If you would take the price of gold in 1980 or like 40 years ago, and then see what it is today, how much percentage you would have gained more than the stock market or the bond market or something like that. And I'll bet it'd be a bundle, almost $2,000 an ounce. So that's 100%. Oh, that's 1,000%. Anyway, all right, there you go. Okay, well, glad we settled that. All right, it's 3:36. How's it going? Everything's all fine. God, I don't know where to start. We got so much. Oh, let's do this. Let's do a little. This is in my craw, and I just can't get over it. I'm so upset about this business with that phony plea deal, and watching some stuff last night with people like Andy McCarthy. It's even worse than we thought. It was the most corrupt event that's happened in a federal government plea deal that's never happened before. There was no precedent for it ever. He said, to make sure Americans get equal justice, the government makes a terms of agreement standard. If a defendant asks for a tweak here or there, the prosecutors decline. The agreement that the Biden made with Hunter was a special agreement, bears a stamp of his lawyers, was not normal. There was nothing normal about it. It cooked up by Confederates, not hammered out by adversaries. Hunter's lawyers had to say the immunity was sweeping. Politically, the Justice Department under Joe Biden, President Pants on Fire, could not agree with that, even though it's exactly what they hoped for. Garland, Weiss and company have been telling Congress they can't answer any questions about or provide documents to the Hunter case. So the Justice Department gave a suspect a plea deal to trivial the charges when the investigation into a serious misconduct was still ongoing. It would have been politically catastrophic. Hunter could still be prosecuted for other crimes. That was unacceptable to Hunter's defense team, so the deal collapsed. That's what they tried to put through. They sneaked in the paragraph concerning this immunity business, not where it's supposed to be in the plea deal. And if the judge hadn't caught it, he would have gotten away with everything, no charges, immunity for anything he had done. And it's not going to happen now. They're going to have to come back again. But again, this is appalling. How is it possible that they're not all in jail right now? I mean, and if you needed more evidence, and now they're all saying, well, he's got to be, now Biden's got to be impeached. President showers with daughter's got to be impeached now to get to the bottom of all this. And there needs to be a special prosecutor. I just can't believe it.
But why wouldn't they keep pushing the envelope? They've gotten away with everything so far.
Yeah, I know. And still, even in fact, let's do this. Do you have that soundbite? The morning crew. I was listening to the Rhino and Tug, and although one of them, somebody's always off. I think Carlos was off today. That's why they have three guys, so they just rotate. You got to do Monday, Tuesday, and Friday. The Rhino gets Tuesday and Thursday next week. He can do whatever he wants. Anyway, God bless him. I wish we could work. They would do the same thing. Anyway, they have played some audio. Listen to the difference. All the liberals now are saying, well, these whistleblowers for the Joe Biden case, they're just Republicans, and you can't believe these people. We don't know if they're telling the truth. They're a bunch of damn liars. You can't trust these whistleblowers. Well, it's not what they said back when Donald Trump was getting attacked by so-called whistleblowers.
The attack on the whistleblower is never wise. It's never lawful. It's never honorable. It's everything you said. It's a travesty.
Hardworking, patriotic person in the intelligence community who just wants to put the information out.
And I'm not going to call them whistleblowers.
They don't deserve whistleblower protection. Each and every one of them has a strange history, has, guess what, Russian connections.
They always do.
It's amazing. Back when they were investigating Trump, well, we thank God for these whistleblowers. Now, these whistleblowers are all fake. I mean, again, if Donald Trump had been the one charged with all these crimes, and if Donald Trump Jr. had been the one on the video with all the hookers and everything else, and the cocaine and the guns and everything else, do you think this would have come out the same way? I don't think so.
No.
Unbelievable.
Well, which is interesting because the Democrats aren't seeing that like that. Because did you see the David Hogg little thing he had with Roseanne?
Tell us that story, and then we got a phone call. Walt wants to jump in on the Mitch McConnell thing, too. Yes, tell us about the Roseanne deal. And then, remember, it was a David, I think his first name, Hogg. Go for the story there, Pete. Tell the little people.
Well, I'm trying to find... Oh, here we go. Okay. David Hogg, you know what he is, a crazy leftist. He did this about Mitch McConnell.
A little more on him. He was at the school shooting, and he was not actually there when it happened. He went home to get his phone camera and came back to take some video, and then he was the leader for taking away guns and all kinds of stuff about liberals and white supremacists and all kinds of stuff, and he became famous. And then he wanted to go to Harvard, and he was in the news all the time, and he was very, very famous as this young 18-year-old kid who suddenly became the face of the anti-gun movement for some reason there. Anyway, sorry. Yes, sir.
If Biden did what Mitch did today, the media would be covering nonstop for the next 2 weeks. But because he's a Republican, it's like nothing ever happened. The right-wing bias of corporate media is nuts. To which Roseanne Barr
right-wing media bias?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. The media right-wing bias?
Yeah, right-wing bias. It's crazy, I tell you. So Roseanne took up the sword for the rest of us and said, this tweet should be in the Smithsonian. There has never been a more Democrat post in history. The lack of awareness, the lack of shame, the double standard, the absolute insanity and soy-induced frail boy bitchiness.
Wait, but you have to say that again. We're going to say that.
The lack of awareness, the lack of shame, the double standard, the absolute insanity, and soy-induced frail boy bitchiness.
We're not men. Are we men? We're not men. Oh, my God. I love it. Listen, it's 3:42. Let's get to Walt on line 17 there, guys, if you would. Walt, you're on the radio. Thanks for holding, man. What do you think about the whole Mitch McConnell business? And the lady touches him and he freezes. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, it reminds me of I've seen this act when somebody would get hypnotized. And they said as soon as somebody comes over and touches you or does something, they freeze or do something different. It sounds like that because that's what happened. As soon as he touched him, he just froze up.
Have you seen that video? I guess you. How did you get it found? Did you Google it or how can you?
Mike, the engineer, emailed it to me.
Okay. Do we know how they can find it? Because it's really worth seeing. They slowed it down in slow motion. You can see the lady kind of sneaking around, and then touches his hand, and boom, he stops.
Yeah, I'll put the link on our Kimmer Show page.
Okay.
By the way, from now on, it's conspiracy Mike, the engineer.
Here you go. God bless him.
Mike.
Thank you.
But
he
needs to retire anyway.
Yeah,
he needs to retire, no doubt.
Thanks, Walt. I appreciate it. I mean, it's getting ridiculous. Well, let's do the Dianne Feinstein. Did you hear about this? Oh, my God. I couldn't believe this. Flounder, if you would, sir. Senator Dianne Feinstein, who pulled that phony letter with, what's her name, Chrissy Ford Humper on the Supreme Court hearing business with that phony letter about him being a gang raper, chain rapist or something. Well, during the Senate Appropriations Committee marking up of bills, all the senators had to say was aye or nay. Okay? All they had to say was aye or nay. So 572-year-old Dianne Finkelfein-Cheatstein was being wheeled in to the hearing, and here's what happened when it was her turn to cast her vote.
Senator Feinstein.
Say aye. Pardon me?
Aye.
Yeah.
Just say
I would like to support a yes vote on this. It provides $823 billion. That's an increase of $26 billion for the Department of Defense, and it funds priorities submitted.
Did you hear?
Yeah, just say aye. Okay, just aye. Thank you.
That was the senator, didn't know what she was doing. All she had to, her staff was saying, just say aye. Just say aye. Just say aye. Can you believe this? Of course, the woman's 90, and she's had all kinds of problems. Oh, and I love the explanation. A spokesperson said the markup was a little chaotic as members worked to wrap up government's funding bills before they leave for a 6-week break. The senators are, quote, constantly switching back and forth between statements, votes, and debate and the order of bills. The senator was preoccupied, didn't realize debate had just ended, and a vote was called. She started to give a statement, was informed it was a vote, and then cast her vote. That's not what happened. She was out of her mind. She didn't know what she was doing.
In her defense, Glenn Greenwald said all of the senators on both sides of the aisle always just say aye whenever the Defense Department shows up with more money requests.
Yeah, there you go. Unbelievable. Anyway, well, we'll have an update on that stuff, too. All right, we got a lot. We got so much going on. Flounder's Funny's coming up here in a second, too. 346 with the Kimmer, Pete, Flounder, and New Nick on 106.3.
This is the wrong one. Dang it.
Who is this? You wanted to go back to the start over? It's all right. It's good. 350. Here we go. Yeah, look out. It's
There
only
we
me.
go.
It's only the Kimmer with Pete Flounder and Nunick. That sounds like Meatloaf. In 2011, Meatloaf, at the age of 63, in 2011, Meatloaf passed out on stage at Pittsburgh's Trib Amphitheater during an apparent asthma attack. About 10 minutes later, he regained his composure and finished the show. So there you go. Beats Mitch McConnell's action there. Also, by the way, just got some people are saying, Nancy Mace would be a great vice presidential candidate on a Trump ticket, by the way. On this day, remember the Y2K scare? Well, it was on this day, 1999, the Y2K scare at the stroke of at the end of the year 2000. At the stroke of the end of the year 2000, the end of the year 1999 into 2000, supposedly all the computers in the world, or at least in America, would spaz out, shut down, not function because the numbers didn't go above 999. So the security people, the SEC, gave brokerage firms until the 1st of August on this 1999, until the 1st of August to prove compliance with a court order for the Y2K plan or be shut down December 31st. All the brokerage firms, if they didn't do it. Remember those scares? Everybody said, my God, what's going to happen? Because computers, it was all 1999 was the last thing ever went on all dates. And was there ever really, I don't even remember being a problem, was there, or was there?
Not that I remember, no.
And something's going on. What do we got, big stars in here? Everybody's taking videos of 4 black guys. These look like football players, man. Who are they? Who are these guys?
I have no idea.
We got a brave.
See.
Oh, my God! There's 4 giant black guys. Look like severe athletes, and everybody's all over them. They're taking pictures, and look at him. Amanda's out there. The social media, but they're all coming in. They're everybody's clapping, and oh my God! So who are these guys? Oh, cool. We got to find out who they are. See if they want to come in on the radio. If they're famous.
If they were white, would you have said 4 white guys out there taking pictures?
Possible. Well, I don't know. That's a great question. Although it certainly wasn't meant to be a racial thing. I guess it was. It wasn't a racist thing, but it was a racial.
Describing the.
Well, I was just because they're clearly stars. If I've just seen 4 white guys walk in the building, I wouldn't have thought anything of it. But 4 large, muscular, athletic-looking black guys being surrounded by cameras, I'm thinking, oh my God, this has got to be athletes or something, or stars of some kind. Anyway, I'm sorry. Got distracted. I thought it would be interesting.
Athletes, huh?
We got to find out who they are. Well, excuse me. I'm just. You would have said the same damn thing. Everybody would. It's not a thing. It's just describing what happened, and they're still being surrounded by fans. Anyway. This just in. Flounder just sent me this from our Facebook, Rumble page, or where'd you go? YouTube?
Extra Facebook page.
Extra Facebook page. We just got into the other day, you'll recall, we had a gentleman called in, it was Chris, I believe, who called in and said that his son Nolan, I think he gave us a message, and I repeated it. He let us know that his son Nolan was turning 18 and wanted us to send him a little shout out. So I did, and I always do my stupid thing where I said, by the way, Nolan, your dad's going to buy you a car, and I'm going to buy you a convertible for your birthday. Joke, laugh. Well, guess what? And then I said, by the way, don't forget, tell him, when you're 18 years old, you can join the Marines. I'm not making this up. We just got a notice from Chris, and it says, my son Nolan heads to Paris Island Sunday. How about an oorah? Oorah, I'll say. How in the world did he sign up for the Marines in 2 days, and he's already going to Paris Island Sunday? Holy smokes. Well, God bless you and Semper Fi and oorah. And I wish if I'd known, I would have tried to send you a little Marine Corps memento, like a coin or something I have. I'd be happy to do that to send you on your way. Anyway, congratulations, and you're going to love it. Get those yellow footprints at going in the gate of Paris Island. Oh, boy. Anyway, Geez, I don't even know where to start, boys. You got so much going on here. No, that's not going to work there. Oh, let's do. This was just in. Did you even hear about this? There's the whistleblower information now, and apparently this is mostly coming from some of our good friends like Jim Jordan, a Republican of Ohio, who has now revealed that there is more evidence of collusion between the White House and Facebook to censor Americans. Between the White House and Facebook, pushing big tech, quote, beyond its own censorship bounds. The word is now they coerced and colluded with big tech and social media to silence American voices in violation of the First Amendment. Big tech social media actually pushed them further than their own internal censorship policies. A smoking gun corroborates the evidence we have discovered in our lawsuit. Never before released internal documents subpoenaed by the Judiciary Committee prove that Facebook and Instagram censored posts and changed their content moderation policies because of unconstitutional pressure from the Biden White House. During the first half of 2021, social media companies Facebook faced tremendous pressure from the White House publicly and privately to crack down on so-called misinformation. A Facebook employee circulated an email for Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg and COO Sheryl Sandberg saying, quote, "We are facing continued pressure from external stakeholders, including the Biden White House, to remove posts." And then revealed in an email, a Facebook executive informed his team that a Biden administration senior advisor was outraged that Facebook did not remove a particular post. It was a meme of actor Leonardo DiCaprio pointing at a TV with the caption, "10 years from now, you will be watching TV and hear, did you or a loved one take the COVID vaccine? You may be entitled to benefits," or something. He never actually said whether the thing was true or false to censor it. They just censored it. If you said that you had a pretty good immunity after COVID recovery, you could get censored. If you said people get vaccine injured, you were censored. And it was because of the White House. This Twitter files, this guy Bacalachara, whatever his name is, was on the platform blacklist because he argued that COVID lockdowns would harm children. So they banned him and blackballed him and censored him. You get censored for that. If you said Johnson & Johnson vaccine was paused by the CDC when the White House posted that on its Facebook page, it got censored itself. Its own censorship regime that it created censored itself for talking about the COVID vaccine from Johnson & Johnson. But the Facebook people knew what they were doing, succumbing to the administration demands in order to maintain a cozy relationship. Quote, "They knew it was wrong." One of those Facebook executives said this is a significant incursion into the boundaries of free expression. A fancy way of saying this violates the First Amendment, for crying out loud. I mean, there you are. It's right there. It won't make a difference. You probably never see it on mainstream media. Donald Trump, have you heard about this? Donald Trump reacting to the here we go again, the latest charges against him. And again, this is amazing. They make a deal to keep Hunter Biden and President Pence on fire secretly away from being prosecuted. And yet, once again, Donald Trump is now being indicted again. Charged Thursday with an additional count of an extra count of the Mar-a-Lago documents case. Willful retention and 2 obstruction counts as part of a new superseding indictment out of this Jack Smith guy's investigation. They're now saying a couple of his aides were obstructing justice, trying to delete surveillance video and otherwise trying to harm the getting of the evidence. I mean, Mike, every day there's unbelievable. In fact, I saw a chart they had on Fox last night, and it showed that Donald Trump, again, the first debate, I think, is next month. First Republican debate is next month. And the primary debates, people indicated coming out are starting pretty soon in the primaries themselves. Donald Trump is going to be under 4 different trials all during the campaign.
At what point does it become overkill and the Democrats have gone too far?
How can you not say, oh, my God? Although they're clapping. They're saying, yay, one of these will get them. I mean, this is unheard of. And they let the Bidens skate. One more example of it. And more about Trump. All right, coming up 4 o'clock already. Holy smokes. I forgot to do
those are UGA college players, so they're here probably shooting a podcast of some sort.
Excellent. Well, welcome aboard, you guys. And Semper Fi. Here we go. 4 o'clock. Look out. Hey, down. Look out, it's only me, it's only the Kimmer. 403 on 106.3 with Pete Davis, Flounder, and New Nick. And it's great that we got our Georgia football players. They're all over the place. Hi, guys. How's it going? They're monsters. They got to be like 6'5" and 260. They're probably wide receivers these days. Jeez, unbelievable. Anyway, and they're just having fun here, and everybody's taking pictures and saying hi, and oh, my goodness. All right, sir. This is Marge Ganser from the Shangri-Las, and unfortunately, on this day in 1996, Marge passed away from breast cancer. The group had scored 10 big hits. Whoa. Wow. The group scored 10 hits, including the 60s hit 1964, Leader of the Pack, which was one of my favorites, Leader of the Pack. And, of course, that's when I wanted to get my first Harley, and I eventually did. Okay, a quick historical note here. It was 2006. Remember, Mel Gibson was arrested for DUI. He had an open bottle of tequila in his car. He verbally assaulted the arresting officer, launched into a tirade against Jews, and pled no contest to a drunk driving charge and got 3 years probation. But I remember the sound of that was pretty good.
Who just swigs tequila?
I don't. Great question. My last experience with tequila was with a girl, and she kind of challenged me. And I remember it was so bad at the end. I remember walking out of the bar, and let's just say the first 4 cars I came to had their paint removed from my it was not an attractive situation. Man, wow, woo. Anyway, 405. We haven't done it. Let's do a Flounders Funny. I haven't done a Flounders Follies Funny here in a while. Let's do Flounders picking out some funny stuff. Let's do one of those right here, just for fun.
I'm sorry, I can't do it. I just can't. That's why I hope we don't go to war. I hope we do not have to ever go to war. I think, first of all, we can all agree on this. We got the best military on planet Earth, the United States. We got the best military. Yeah. Oh, there. Yeah. Yes. True. But listen, if we had to have a draft with this group of 18 to 25-year-olds we got running around this country, just a bunch of life coaches and bloggers, will help. I don't want to get my shoes dirty. You ever been shot? No, I've been triggered. Okay. It's scary, but it's true. That is how this country was built. This country was built 18 to 25-year-old men fighting, protecting our freedom. Probably not like that. Don't come into our country. My jeans are too skinny for that. That's like, imagine if the Civil War happened today. If Civil War happened in 2000, win the battle, we wouldn't even make it to the field. All right, men, tomorrow we march. What is that, ragweed out there? Looks like a lot of pollen out on that field right now. Can we delay the battle till April? I am very sensitive. I did not bring my inhaler. Just in the bunker taking selfies. # Confederate Live. Use the Gettysburg filter.
That is John Crist.
John Crist. Crist or Chris?
Crist. Crist.
Excellent. Well done. Cool. A couple of things I want to mention some more about Mitch McConnell. Again, I have not heard whether he ever went to the doctor, whether he ever got checked out for his episode of the mini stroke the other day, which I find hard to believe. But I got a nice note here from John on Facebook who said, Kimmer, I'm not sure if you know that 2 years ago, Mitch McConnell wanted to retire and tried to have an amendment to the state constitution, where he's from, that would require the governor in his state to replace a retiring senator with one of the same party. He tried to get that passed in Kentucky. It didn't work. Where's he from? Kentucky? Where's he?
Yes,
Kentucky. Yeah. Tried to get that passed, but it did not pass. So he said, I'm not going to retire then. I don't want to be replaced with a communist Democrat. And so that's why he's been working, because he didn't want to retire. He didn't want to perhaps lose an election, take a chance on it, and they wouldn't replace him with another Republican. So just for the record. But again, the Babylon Bee has weighed in on this, too. In an unexpected turn of events, Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, a Republican, has now rocketed to the top of the polls for the 2024 Democrat Party nomination for president after suffering what appeared to be a stroke in the middle of a press conference yesterday. Frank Lutz, the pollster, said, well, we all know Democrat voters love impaired candidates. Joe Biden, John Fetterman, Dianne Feinstein, all beyond to be loved among Democrat voters. It makes sense they would flock towards Senator McConnell. After his unexplained episode with the latest health scare, he's the ideal Democrat candidate. And by the way, senators, according to Babylon Bee, are also excited now. Their new lunch menu, they were running down the hall the way to lunch this afternoon, hearing congressional chefs were prepping something special in addition to their normal meal of strained peas and blended cube steak. Ooh, I hear it's chocolate pudding, exclaimed Dianne Feinstein. I haven't had chocolate smooshy moosh since Otto von Bismarck made his trek across the Delaware. And another thing, why are the lights in here so bright? And where's Dorothy with my whacking stick? I can't find Senator. Everything's going to be fine, Senator. Here's your strained peas. Oh my God, it's getting worse. Oh, have you heard this? And you're going to hear from the one of the worst senators we've ever had, the racist white hater Elon Umar in a second. Have you heard what they're trying to do now? And Republicans are calling him. In fact, Nancy Mace is. But the more I see her name, the more I get excited about her and her future. Washington, D.C. Dateline: a House Democrats' proposal to scrub the terms husband and wife from federal law and replacing them with spouse have members of both sides of the aisle thinking they're absolutely losing their minds. Jim Comer, the guy we know is in charge of most of these investigations against the Biden crime family. Democrats are not fighting for better jobs, not fighting for a secure border. They're fighting for a woke agenda to satisfy an extreme left-wing contingency that's taking over the Democrat Party in Washington. It's another joke in the far-left overreach of government. Virginia Representative Don Beyer said although he uses the term husband and wife, it may not be for everybody. Well, California Representative Julia Brownlee introduced the Code for Marriage Equality Act, eliminating the words husband and wife from all existing law. You'd have to say spouse or married person. The bill would strike the terms husband and wife in favor of former wife, and former wife would not be used either. It would have to be married couple or person who has been but is no longer married to. The term one man, one woman would also be eliminated and replaced with two people as spouses. Republican South Carolina Representative Nancy Mace called the proposal bourgeois. Only she changed the word. This is the dumbest thing ever. Complete bourgeois. They want to take away women. They want to call it pregnant moms. You want like a pregnant person. You're not a mother anymore. I mean, where are they going to stop? You can't say husband and wife in America?
Yeah, you can. Just don't care.
Just ignore these people. And now, Ilhan Omar, this disgraceful example of a congressperson, was on Al Jazeera, which figures, and she was asked if she thought conservatives were right to have a legitimate fear of Islam after the attacks in America, including a truck attack in New York in 2017. Anyway, here's Ilhan Omar saying what she thinks about whether conservatives should be concerned about fear mongers.
I would say our country should be more fearful of white men across our country because they are actually causing most of the deaths within this country.
Should be more fearful of white men. Mm-hmm. Let's go over those statistics again about the number of shootings among the non-white population. Anyway, but do we have Senator Kennedy in there also, Flounder? His soundbite to Pete. Did Pete send that to you or talk about that? I forgot whether I asked you that.
On that one.
Okay, well, we'll try to. Pete, I thought I was going to get that for you, and I didn't get that later. We'll try to get that a little bit later on. He made another great comment about Ukraine.
Well, Clay and Buck talked about Omar. They had a great line. She is a protected group. She's a black Muslim woman, so you can't criticize her in any way. Yet she can point out an entire segment of our population, white men, of which you can say anything about.
Yeah. And by the way, Clay is going to be here in town next week, Monday and Tuesday. I think I heard him say both Monday and Tuesday. And we will endeavor to get him to come in here when he's done, if he can, and spend a little time with us. If he wants to chat with us, it might be kind of fun. Just see what it's like being one of the big-time boys.
Oh, we got a Babylon Bee headline.
Oh, go ahead.
Family torn between placing grandpa in hospice or having him run for Senate.
413 with a Kimmer, Pete, Flounder, and New Nick on 106.3. There's the Boomtown Rats. Yeah, what a story. Bum, bum, bum. 1979, Boomtown Rats got their number one hit single, the second one they've had in Britain, called I Don't Like Mondays. Bob Geldof wrote the song after reading the story of the shooting spree of a 16-year-old girl named Brenda Ann Spencer. She was in San Diego, and across the street from her home, a bunch of kids were playing at a school playground. So she started shooting at them. She killed just a 16-year-old girl. Killed 2 adults, 1979. Injured 8 children and 1 police officer. The 16-year-old shooter showed no remorse for her crime. Her full explanation for her actions was, quote, I don't like Mondays. This livens up the day. Uh-huh. Now, I assume she's still in prison, right? I assume she didn't do it. In fact, I should have looked that up. I forgot. Actually, I didn't forget because I didn't get the thing till I came in today. Flounder got this, and so I should have looked it up since I got here. Her name is Brenda Ann Spencer. So at some point, we'll Google her and see whether she's still in prison for the Don't Like Mondays business.
Checking now.
Thank you, sir. Also, on this day in history, we saw how the plea deals went with the Bidens trying to cover them from any other crimes. Well, it was 25 years ago, 1998, Monica Lewinsky received a promise of blanket immunity from Ken Starr in exchange for testimony about her affair with President Scuzzbag. Yes, it's true. And by the way, if you never saw that series or it was a series of things on Clinton and the Monica Lewinsky's business, honest to goodness, I really have so much respect for this woman after what she went through and what she's done with her life since then. It's really remarkable, just for the record. All right, here at 429. Oh, is this, we have a phone call there? Is this a legit phone call? Or let's try one and see who's on. This is Joe. Hello, Joe. You're on the radio. What's up?
Hey, guys. Great to hear you again. 2 quick questions for y'all.
Yeah.
Number one, with all these indictments against President Trump, why don't conservatives bring up the fact that Hillary Clinton crashed hardware, deleted thousands of emails?
Well, in fact, you're right. Yeah.
Second question, if you were on the TV game show Password, who would you rather have as a partner, Joe Biden or Mitch McConnell?
You're a funny man, Joe. I'm thinking. You know, it's amazing. In fact, Nancy Mace just, there's a soundbite of her somewhere floating around her where she said the exact same thing. She said, no, wait a minute. The Hunter Biden deal was collusion. It was a criminal attempt to hide him from being prosecuted for other crimes he committed. And yet she said, she made the point, I just heard her this morning, she said, can you remember 30+ thousand emails were under federal subpoena, and Hillary Rodham P. Stinky Fart Cabbage erased them all, and they let her get away with it. Nothing ever happened. I mean, talk about 2 systems of justice. Joe, have you ever in your life ever seen anything like this duplicity? It wasn't like this under Nixon. Watergate was nothing compared to this. This has never happened in America, as far in any bit of history in America ever that I can remember. Do you think that's true, or do you agree with me, or not?
I don't remember. I don't understand why they don't speak up and say, wait a minute, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. If you're not going to prosecute her, why are we on this guy, and why don't Republicans speak up against it? I don't understand that.
Well,
is it just
I think
to a...
Yeah, you're right. I mean, and the other problem is, and Joe, thank you. I really appreciate you calling. They're not being covered. They are speaking up. Nancy Mace just said it again today. You're not going to see her anywhere. On Fox, you'll hear her on Fox, and that's it, period. No one else is. And again, you know, I go back to the fact it's just killing me. And by the way, Pete, we're going to do the tranny story here with your congressman coming up in a second, Mr. Hunt. But it reminds me, you know, it's these people, all they hear. My daughters have never watched Fox News. They've never read a conservative journal. They've never seen a conservative website. All they know is what they know off of either CNN or MSNBC or nothing, or they're just their friends and, you know, their tweets and stuff. And they don't even really do that very much. So all they know is that they believe Donald Trump is a Russian agent who should be in prison, and that he's guilty, and that Republicans are picking on the Biden family for political reasons. And they really truly believe that. They truly believe it. They believe that Joe Biden's a great president, great for the country. This is what America needs to stop all the mean tweets. He's brought us all together. I mean, everything is exact opposite of what the truth is, but that's all they know. And it's killing me because I'm going nuts. And there's nothing we can do about it. 424, almost 425 anyway. All right, Pete Davis, that hearing yesterday about the trannies. And again, I mentioned, I heard on the news, even on Fox News, I talk about bias and deceit. The Fox News anchor person late yesterday said in about a 5-second recap, conservatives, there was a young woman who regretted the fact that she got her gender changed and had her breasts removed, and now she says it was horrible. However, here's a Democrat saying this is a wonderful thing they've done, and then played the sound bite, made a big effort of playing the sound of the person saying it's wonderful to allow children to not go through the trauma of having testicles if they don't want them when they're 12 years old. And I'm thinking to myself, my God, talk about slanted and biased. Well, Pete Davis, tell us about this congressman you're aware of on this tranny issue.
Representative Wesley Hunt of Texas came out and had a very impassioned speech. We'll hear it. And Sage Steele, who I don't know if she's still with ESPN, but she's the one who was posting it saying, look, this is the type of energy we need to save women in sports.
And I can assure you that my 4-year-old and my 2-year-old daughters will not change in front of biological men. This is ridiculous. I don't care what party you are a part of. If you think that we're all equal and the same biologically, you've literally lost your mind. And when my 2 daughters work hard in the sport, work hard in their craft to be the best that they can be amongst other women, they will compete against other women. I owe Victoria and Olivia and every other young lady in this country that. If you think I'm wrong, I am not the problem. I can assure you, we have an opportunity in this country to get this right in 2024 so we can stop all of this foolishness.
You know, how can you argue? How can you be talking about children and changing their biological gender surgically and chemically as a
Anybody
child?
who argues against this, ask them if they've ever played any organized sport as either a teenager or as an adult, and they ever had to play against people who are much larger than them.
It just seems so obvious. I mean, I can't believe we're even having the discussion. How is it possible that people are getting up before Congress and saying, well, we think it's really a good idea for the mental health of a 9-year-old boy who really wants to be a girl to allow him to cut off his testicles? Yeah, we think that's good for the American boy because, you know, this way he doesn't have to suffer. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, poor baby has a bad childhood. Oh, my God. You remember the time I think about my childhood, and I'm thinking about all the times I was sad or depressed or angry or somebody made fun of me or, I mean, all the things, you know, we've all had bad examples of things in our childhood. We were angry at our parents and we were trying to grow apart and we suddenly hated our father and you know, wanted to break away from our mommying and stuff. I mean, we all go through that. It's life. It's kids. You know, and so maybe they have a little extra thing going on, but that doesn't mean you change everything before you're an adult. I mean, you can't let children do this. How could a parent allow this? I just can't believe it. Honestly, I can't believe it.
Because the parents have been educated under, you know, public education, and they're morons.
Yeah. Well, 428, we got a second or two for a call. Here's Adam is on the phone, 404-741-1230. Adam, welcome aboard. You're on the radio.
I got a request.
Okay.
You know that Peaches and Herb from 1980 was re-indicted, and it feels so good.
Yeah, it feels so good. Peaches and Herb. Shall I play that for you?
Donald's going to jail. No, wait.
What was it again?
Play the Pointer Sisters. I'm so indicted, and I'm going to jail.
You saw what now?
And I'm a criminal.
Because you're a Democrat? So the Bidens are going to jail? That's right. The Bidens are going to jail. It's Hunter is going to be sodomized every night for 6 months in a row, setting a record. What's that?
You know why you can't believe it's real about a 9-year-old boy who gets upset and they say, okay, change your sex? Because it doesn't happen. It's MAGA's making it up.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Joe Adam the Liar, who's once again telling us that everything's great with America. No little boy or little girl has ever had their gender changed. Gee, Joe, or Adam, I guess you didn't watch the freaking hearing yesterday with that little girl crying when she had her boobs cut off and wished she hadn't done it. You freaking liars. I don't mind. Let's cut them off. We'll take you on to make your point that you are lying about what is really going on in America. We'll let you make your lying point, and then we'll cut you off because, in the object of fairness, you can be stupid. We're allowing you to be stupid, but we're not going to continue it because you're offensive. You come up with a new act.
Yeah, we cut you off like you're a 12-year-old boy.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
Well, that's what he calls in every day with a different name.
So we know. And I will take him, and we'll do it for 20 seconds, and then we'll get rid of him because he thinks it's amusing. I bet he's going, oh, boy, I really got him this time. 4:30.
Also, real quick, if you want to check your phone, I sent you the latest on the Brenda Spencer.
Oh, excellent.
So she is still in jail.
Excellent. 4:30, and we'll come back with more here coming up in a second. Thank you. Thank you. I don't think it's good news, though.
Nope.
Oh, mercy. Well, we could have a little power issue here coming up. Is this the Allman Brothers there? On this day, 1973, it was the Watkins Glen Outdoor Summer Jam in New York State. I'll let you play a little bit here, Flounder. Sure you there. Boy, this sounds like somebody other than the Allman Brothers. Sounds like...
No, it doesn't.
This sounds like the Allman Brothers.
Well,
it's Allman Brothers.
It sounds like the guy who sang My Little Ding-a-Ling.
No.
Chuck Berry? Chuck Berry.
No.
Sounds like Chuck Berry.
No, it doesn't.
Well, obviously I'm wrong. Watkins Glen Outdoor Summer Jam, the Allman Brothers, Grateful Dead, and the band. There were 600,000 rock fans there. Historians claim the event was the largest gathering of people in the history of the United States. Think about where any other time 600,000 people would be in one spot watching one thing. Mardi Gras, maybe, but
Woodstock.
Woodstock. Well, this was bigger than Woodstock. This was way bigger than Woodstock. They sold 150,000 tickets for $10, but 500,000 other people showed up for free.
Woodstock's only 400,000.
Yeah, this was way bigger than Woodstock. The crowd was so big that for most of them, they never even saw the stage. They were too far away. By the way, Flounder, check this out for me, too. The Boomtown Rat thing, that girl, Brenda Ann Spencer, was 16 years old in San Diego. She said, I don't like Mondays, want to liven up the day, so she started shooting adults and children, killing a bunch of people, been sentenced to prison. She was denied, again, she was 16 years old in 1979. She was denied parole in 2009. There would be another 10 years before she'd be considered again, and then in 2022, just last year, she and the Board of Parole Hearings agreed she was not suitable for parole. She would not be eligible for another hearing for another 3 years. She is still imprisoned at the California Institution for Women in Chino, California. Her next opportunity will be in 2025. God, I'll bet she rules the cell block.
She was 2 years younger than me, and she's missed her entire life.
44 years behind bars. In prison, not jail, not county jail where you go and work. 44 years behind federal prison bars.
By the way, the devil is beating the devil is beating his wife up here in North Georgia.
Yeah, you got a little storm action, do you?
It's storming it's pure sunshine, and it is storming to beat the band.
Oh my goodness! Well, that sounds kind of weird. Let's see. A quick historical note. A couple of things on this day, 1868. The 14th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution was ratified, guaranteeing due process of law, which, by the way, is a biggie because it means they can't just screw you on general principle. Of course, you can do it if you're a Democrat. It doesn't really make a difference. 50 years ago, in 1973, Lee Majors, the $6 million man, married Farrah Fawcett from Charlie's Angels. That was 1973. Their marriage lasted 9 years, and then she died of anal cancer. Sorry. Well, it's true. That's what actually they called it. Let's see. Speaking of politicians and so forth, Pete, what's the latest on Robert F. Kennedy Jr.? Apparently, I find this astounding that he's a major presidential candidate. For God's sakes, he's a Kennedy, and yet he's not being treated fairly when it comes to protection. What's the deal?
Well, supposedly, he says, his uncle was murdered, probably by the CIA. His father was murdered. We still don't know why Sirhan did that. And he's asked for, official through the channels with the forms and everything. He's kind of like you with the VA. He's put the forms in and everything. And they're basically dragging their feet about a Kennedy being protected. Meanwhile, Hunter Biden has, a six-car motorcade? Yeah. And he's just a private citizen.
Yeah, that's why they don't have to talk about him at the podium.
So are they trying to kill another Kennedy or what? Because there are jerks out there. There are crazy people out there thinking, I could be the guy who comes third,
Well, I don't have the story in front of me, but I remember him saying something. He sent a 60-page report asking for protection. He's a presidential candidate. Since when would he, as a Kennedy, not be susceptible to danger on his campaigning? And the Department of Homeland Security, I guess it was Mayorkas who turned him down and said, actually, who would it be?
Secret
Service agent, yeah. Said, no, you're not qualified. How is that possible?
Well, once again, we live in Banana Republic times where you have one party in charge and they're a bunch of Marxists and they're doing whatever they want because there's no media to hold them accountable. There's no DOJ or FBI to hold them accountable.
And it reminds me, speaking of bias, tell the story about what CNN has done, trying to show America that we really are going in the right direction.
CNN, I got to find that here.
Oh, sorry, I didn't know you were there.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
CNN has found the one family in Florida that wants to move. They're saying they did a whole story on them. They're packing up. They're leaving. Doesn't say exactly where they are. Says, I never thought I'd have to flee a state, but I'm going to have to flee. And Rob Schmidt said millions have fled California and New York and not one story about them on CNN.
They had to find somebody who wanted to leave the red state of Florida.
Which is fine. I hope there's a lot more of them in Georgia that want to leave, frankly. Please. And I'll say this once again, as a Southerner, and the Southern gentleman, Southern hospitality, throw that out the window. If these Democrats are moving here and still voting Democrat, I want you to be rude to them. I want you to make their life a living hell.
Yeah.
And don't give them a job. Don't give them credit. Don't do anything for them until they leave.
It's 4:39. Coming up, we have a Purim. Pete has a Purim for us. Maybe from our YouTube mafia. I'm not sure quite yet, especially.
No. This is another one.
And do you want to do a tweets or a Skynet here in the next minute or so? Pick one, Pete.
Well, let's see. Let's do Pete's tweets.
Okay, we'll do that. If we got Pete's tweets. And then also, the hoax girl is arrested. But first, we got tweets. We got Pete. They got a little thing we call Pete's tweets.
Desi and Dog tweets, Kemmer just mentioned the fall of 1964.
Yeah.
I never knew it fell.
Okay.
Greg Price tweets, things that happened this week. 81-year-old Senate GOP leader freezes mid-sentence. 90-year-old Democrat senator told to just vote aye. And 80-year-old president claims he cured cancer. But all is well. All is well. All right, here's your poem. It's from Anthony.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
Mary had a little skirt. It split right up the sides.
Yes.
And everywhere that Mary went, the boys could see her thighs. She also had another skirt. It split right up the front. She never wore that one.
Didn't wear that one very often. No, that was...
I love it. After hearing the Hindu politician bitching about the Oppenheimer movie, saying we should go to war because they've, insulted our great texts and our sacred texts, you might be surprised to learn the film is playing in India right now.
Oh, really?
All over, yeah. Unfortunately, one movie theater mixed up the films and played the English subtitles for Barbie in the Oppenheimer
That had to be amusing.
Imagine how confusing that had to be.
Oh, mercy.
That is great. George Facebooks, and I did not know this, how much exactly is a butt load?
It depends on whose butt you're talking about.
All right, we use it all the time, but what is it? Get this, a butt load is an actual real measurement. A butt load, what do you think would be measured in a butt load?
A butt load? Probably a donkey's fanny or something. A pack hanging off the back of a horse, maybe?
That's a very bizarre dream you're having there, but okay.
Well, they used to have horses, when they were dragging carts all through, when they didn't have cars, the horses had to have little bags behind them to catch their poop, and that would maybe be a buttful of a bag of poop. I don't know.
Actually, that makes sense now that you've explained it to me. Yeah. A butt load of wine is exactly 126 gallons.
And why do they call it butt then?
Well, I think wasn't the butt something to do with the cask or what they carried it in or something?
Oh, I got you. And
I don't know.
It's kind of like, as I remember, I think aren't railroad tracks are as wide as two horses' asses?
I did not know that.
Yeah.
You're stuck on the horse's asses.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm a horse person. No, I'm sure that's true. That I believe it was railroad tracks and bus lines or trolley car lines are all based on the size of two horses' butts pulling a wagon down the thing, and that's how. That's what they did.
Not all train tracks are the same. There's narrow gauge. There's bigger.
Well, we're not talking HO for the Hobby Lobby people.
Well, no, I say that because the problem with Ukraine and their grain, now that the Russians have blocked the ports and won't let the ships out now, is the fact that they can't send it west into Europe because Europe has a different gauge of track than they do.
Well, that's stupid.
It is stupid, but that's the way it is. Dr. Jordan Peterson tweets, if animals don't want to be eaten, then why are they made out of food?
And have all those nice fur coats to keep them warm for us before we eat them.
Declaration of Memes tweets, I have 10 guns. If the government takes 10 guns from me, how many do I have left? I have 19. I have 19 guns because I lied to those communist bastards.
I'd love to see him coming into my closet one day.
Oh, please.
Are all these loaded?
They wouldn't get to the closet.
They would never make it to those steps.
Headline of the day, British man dies in Jamaica after trying to down all 21 cocktails on a bar's drink menu.
Oh, mercy.
And finally, the Heinlein Society Facebook, this is a question, by not exposing his identity, Batman is either driving the Batmobile uninsured or committing insurance fraud.
I love it.
That's Pete Sweets for you.
All right. And by the way, that girl in Alabama who said that she was kidnapped after she tried to find a little baby on the road, and then she was kidnapped and so forth, now has admitted it's all, well, they've arrested her. Which is good. You need to arrest people.
They need to prosecute her to the fullest extent of the law.
Yep. And I'm sure again, I don't know what her excuse was. Was it a mental thing, or she tried to get attention, or make her boyfriend mad?
Yeah, she was mad at somebody, I think.
But again, I haven't heard the full explanation. But clearly, no matter what the excuse is, you got to prosecute her, and she has to be punished for it. Oh my God, it's already 4:45. Holy moly! We got Flounders Funnies coming up. Also, some supposedly best jokes in the world, which I'm a little skeptical of, and a whole bunch of stuff, really, and Skynet and Holy Crap at Sports and a billion things coming up with Pete Kimmer and the Flounder and the thing. It's 4:45 right there. I got it. We got a double whammy for you to judge here in a minute. Now, I've never heard this guy singing this, for the record.
It's horrible.
All right, this is Chris Farlow in 1966. Chris Farlow and the Thunderbirds were at number 1 on the British charts with the Mick Jagger and Keith Richards song "Out of Time." The song was released on the Stones. Well, that was Chris Farlow. Here's the Stones now. "Out of Time." Well, I don't like either one of them, but this is a lot better than the other one. My God. Oh, this is better. This sounds better. I like this, yeah. Oh, my God. Listen. There's a beautiful woman out there that just waved to me through the window. It's taking pictures of something.
Focus.
I can't focus. She's a knockout.
Squirrel.
Anyway, that was 1966, and then the Stones, and then the thing with their thing.
I hear the story, the fact that, the Beatles gave him like their first little hit there, "I Want to Be Your Man" and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And the Rolling Stones manager said, look, if you're going to make money on this, you're going to be successful, you got to write your own songs, which they really didn't know how to do. He locked Keith and Mick in the kitchen of an apartment and said, unless you come out with 2 or 3 songs, we're not going to keep doing this.
Oh, no kidding. By the way, we haven't mentioned Randy Meisner passed away, the original Eagles bass player. Take It to the Limit, famous thing. He died at 77 from chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. They call him an integral part of the Eagles, obviously, instrumental in the early success of the band. Vocal range was astonishing, evident in his signature ballad, Take It to the Limit. Along with Glenn Frey, Don Henley, Bernie Leadon, Meisner, born in Scottsbluff, Nebraska, was a founding member in 1971. He used to play with Rick Nelson and the Stone Canyon Band, original bass player for Poco in the 60s. Let's see. He did the self-titled debut album 76's through 76's Hotel California. Then he quit the group in 1977, replaced by Timothy Schmidt. Let's see. The bulk of the Eagles' vocal duties went to Don Henley and Frey, but Meisner sang lead on one of the group's most enduring hits, Take It to the Limit, from their 75 album. And he was inducted in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame with the Eagles in 1998. His personal life, pretty tragic, 2016. His wife, Lana Ray Meisner, was fatally shot in their L.A. home after an accidental discharge of a firearm. Wow. Anyway, Randy Meisner is dead, for the Eagles founder, 77. Kind of a shame. Let's see. We have a Flounders Funny coming up this half hour?
Absolutely.
Shall we do one now, just for the heck of it? Have that sad note? Let's do a little fun.
Sure, since we're about to talk about AI, this is Bill Burr freaking out over AI.
Excellent.
And I'm afraid of robots. I saw one get interviewed on 60 Minutes, and he's just sitting there getting interviewed, not nervous at all, just rattling off all the answers, not smoking, not leaking oil, whatever you would do as a nervous robot, right? And the reporter's asking him questions, and in the end he goes, "So tell us." He's like, "What are your goals?" And I am alone in a hotel room, and I literally lean towards the TV. I'm like, "These things have goals?" And the robot just answers. He just goes, he goes, "Well, what are your goals?" And the robot goes, "To become smarter than human beings." Yeah. And the reporter just blows by it. He's like, "Okay, and what's your favorite color?" Meanwhile, I'm standing on my bed yelling at the TV like, "Dude, unplug that thing! Take the batteries out! Pull the wires out! Do something!" How many sci-fi movies do you have to see before you realize where this is going?
He's absolutely correct. Oh, mercy. Unbelievable. By the way, if you had to guess, what city in America would you say is clearly the number one strip club capital of America? The city in America, #1 strip joint club capital in the country. What city? Pete? Hello. Oh, God, the Lightning get him?
Yeah, we may have got him.
Oh, I think the Lightning got him.
I'm going to go either California or New York.
Well, let's go with the city.
I'm sorry, I didn't say city.
No, that's right.
I'll go, let's say Los Angeles.
Okay, the America's strip club capital, Los Angeles. How about New Nick? New Nick back there, or did he take off already?
No, he's back there.
Hey, what do you think, New Nick? The city, the capital, strip club capital of the world. Of the country, sorry.
Vegas?
Good guesses. New York and Vegas. The strip club capital of America is Portland. Portland, Oregon has, let me get the numbers here. The reason I'm mentioning it because the strippers are on strike in Portland. They're fighting for safety and respect. Let's see. Portland, Oregon has long been boasting the title of America's strippiest metropolitan area. Portland, Oregon has 54 strip joints, the most strip clubs per capita by a major margin. Nobody's even close. Houston has the overall strip club count record, but Houston has a population 400% greater than Portland, and Portland has almost as many strip clubs as Houston with about 9 trillion% fewer people. Anyway, the strip club dancers want to unionize. They would be the second club people to unionize outside of North Hollywood, unionized strippers. They say their stripping poles are unstable, and they could actually fall and hurt their little ankles. There's not enough security. Uneven stage flooring, they could trip. They smell gas sometimes. The management retaliates against the dancers who complained about things, and they call them, the official group is called the anus tarts. Well, that's disgusting.
Well, you didn't have to go that far.
Sorry, I just read it because it's in quotes, and I thought, oh my God.
Okay, you're Ron Burgundy now.
You write it, he'll say it. Anyway, I guess I should have put it. I should have put that in my lockbox. By the way, I forgot to mention: if you need a lockbox, you need a safety deposit box. You need an Atlanta Safe House safe. You need a safe. You may not know it, but you need a lock-up safe, and that's where you get it. Atlanta Safe House. Business safes, jewelry safes, high security safes would have saved me from not being able to find my stupid medical records. Anyway, tell them the Kimmer sent you. We'll talk more about them a little bit later on. AtlantaSafehouse.com. They're here to help you. Now, aside from the strippers on strike, here's a little something, and maybe to look forward to this weekend if you can get a place that's not too bright from lights. It's going to be the meteor shower and 20 meteors an hour in a dark sky location over the weekend, usually pretty much after midnight, coinciding with a nearly full moon, which may make it tough to see illumination drowning out some of the stuff. But anyway, if you want to see meteors overnight this weekend, is there a peak?
Yeah.
And so there you go.
I'm throwing the BS flag. They always say this. I always stand out there like an idiot, like a barren testicle in the open plain. There's no meteors. Or in Atlanta, it's cloudy.
Yeah, I know. It's not right.
I mean, I'm out there as bear bait in the middle of the field, and there's no meteors.
Now, by the way, how's your lightning? Are you still got your power and everything, obviously?
The storm is coming from the west and the south. That's not good when the wind's blowing in that direction. So it's pretty bad right now.
All right. Well, almost 5 o'clock. Coming up, not only Holy Crap at Sports, also either tweets or Skynet. I forgot which way we haven't done. Maybe we've done them all. Also, you'll be hearing from Nancy Mace. I'm getting all tingly thinking about her once again, and what happened to Diane Feinfickle cheat state. Oh, almost 5 o'clock. Let's get it together, ladies. Left shoulder. Right a blank. Ready on your dog. Target. Go to Vietnam. I'll kill some Viet Cong. Road guards out. Fire. Yourself. It's only me. It's only the camera with Pete Davis, sidekick producer and sports raconteur extraordinaire, and the mechanical mangler flounder at the controls. And new Nick, our intern, is back there in the back handling things in case we hear from our YouTube mafia or whatever. We got a billion things coming up. You can hear some more sound today. A couple of things that are astounding. And if you've been listening to mainstream media, they probably didn't. I don't know whether they played these things at all. I wonder whether ABC, NBC, CBS played the video and the audio of Senator Dianne Feinstein freezing up and not knowing what to do at the meeting. I wonder whether they have made anything about the McConnell thing. Whether they, in fact, anybody know if the mainstream media even played that? I assume they would have had to, but we don't watch them, so I don't know. Anyway. Here's the number. We'll get all this stuff. Here's the number, 404-741-1230, 741-1230. By the way, this day in history, sort of an interesting thing. I got to put on my little cowbongas here for the thing. It was on this day in 1932, the big bonus army battle of vets against vets. 1932, federal troops under the order of President Hoover were told to get rid of the bonus army. What happened was, 1932, 17,000 World War I veterans gathered in Washington to demand money that they weren't scheduled to get until 1945. The troops under the command of Douglas MacArthur and Major General George Patton were ordered to charge into the veterans and were sent to destroy the temporary shacks in the bonus army's camps in Hooverville on the Anacostia Flats, forcing out the marchers. Again, they were demanding to get their money. They were told that they weren't going to get their World War I money until 1945. The problem was they were suffering like everybody else from the Depression, 1932 after all. So what happened was they were told, the Army was told under President Hoover, told the Army to get rid of them. So MacArthur and Patton marched in there with their own veterans troops and forced them out. By the end of the day, hundreds of veterans were either injured or killed. And they were suffering and they wanted their money, so they showed up 17,000 strong, called the bonus army, and wanted their money. Well, they didn't get it then, but they were given silver service certificates to earn while fighting in World War I, and they were eventually paid out and it was settled, as I recall. But holy moly, I mean, a veteran against veteran, because of the Depression, they wanted their freaking money.
Disgraceful.
Unbelievable. And, again, I was just, telling Pete the other day, it'll be 8 months. It took me to get my medical meeting to see about this stuff.
Well, if you were Ukrainian, you'd have had it by now.
I mean, 8 freaking months.
Yeah.
Did we ever find a soundbite of Senator Kennedy, by the way, Flounder, on Ukraine? Pete had mentioned that. I didn't know whether we do.
Senator from Louisiana. Mr. President, the American people, have sent over $100 billion to help our friends in Ukraine. And most members of this body have supported it. But this money didn't fall from heaven. It came out of people's pocket. How can we possibly look the American people in the eye and say that we don't want to assure to them that this money will not be stolen? And that's all this bill does. It lets the president appoint a lead inspector general to answer to the United States Congress so we can look the American people in the eye and say your money was not stolen. And I can't imagine that we would not pass this bill.
The Democrats blocked that.
Yeah. Well, for good reason. And by the way, did you notice that the other day they sent another $20 billion or whatever, or $10 billion, or whatever it was over there, without telling anybody? I mean, it was announced, but because of all the stuff going on with everything else, it was almost hidden. I think, well, we're going to give them another few $1 billion, like nobody, we just sneak it in there. It's unbelievable. Honestly, where's the media? We know where they are.
They want World War III. They think we'll survive a limited nuclear exchange, like it'll stay limited.
Yeah. It's 5:08. I'm going to talk. I'm going to hear. You're going to hear the sound of Dianne Feinstein cheat sting, and also talk and hear the sound of Nancy Mace, who I'm getting all tingly thinking about her more and more. Oh, wait a minute, we got a phone call. Is that is that Steve? I think we got Steve on the phone with joining the Kimmer Show. Steve, you're on the radio, man. Thanks for calling. What's up?
Oh, great. I'm glad you guys are back on the air now. I thought I was going to have to kill myself. When I was a kid, my brother went to the Citadel, and he graduated in 1964. And one of the guys that was there when he was there was either in the same class as he was or maybe a year ahead of him, was Nancy Mace's dad.
Wow, no kidding.
Yeah, and Nancy Mace's dad was the commandant of cadets when the first young woman tried to get into the Citadel, and they fought it so hard.
Shannon, what's her name? Yeah.
Yeah, number 2 guy, Shannon.
Foster, something like that, yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, his dad, her dad, according to my brother,
Faulkner
was kind of this wild man, and he used to go hunt alligators on the weekend, and he would skin them, and he had alligator skins up on the wall in his room in the barracks, and supposedly kept a live alligator in his room at the barracks.
All right, now hold on a minute. You're telling me that Nancy Mace's father at the Citadel would go kill and skin alligators and had a live alligator in his door in his barracks?
That's what my brother said. Yep.
Oh my God! I'm getting more and more tingly at this. The whole deal. Oh, what a great story!
And when she decided to go to the Citadel, her dad said, "Well, okay, good luck."
Did Nancy go to the Citadel?
Yes, she did.
Oh my God! I didn't know that either. You buried the story. Holy cow! Nancy Mace went to the Citadel.
Oh yeah.
Holy cow!
Yep.
Well, I'm in love with her.
Kimmer's gonna need a second here.
Yeah, you're gonna have to take over, Pete. I'll be back in a minute. Mercy. Hey, thanks, Steve. I appreciate it. Well, I mean, in fact, let's play the sound. Let's do the one of her admitting at the prayer breakfast. Nancy Mace shows up at the prayer breakfast and was telling him why she was afraid that she might have had to been late unless she had to tell her boyfriend something.
But want to thank you for pulling this together. Another year, another standing room only event. And when I woke up this morning at 7, I was getting picked up at 7:45. Patrick, my fiance, tried to pull me by my waist over this morning in bed, and I was like, "No, baby, we don't got time for that this morning."
Yes, we do.
I got to get to the prayer breakfast.
We got time,
and I got to be on time. And a little TMI, but
it's almost over.
He can wait. I'll see him later tonight.
Oh my God.
But I was here early today for you, Tim, and I think everybody was here early for you today.
By the way, she got ripped from some people, although others were supporting her. One guy joked, he said, "I'll take what is a sin for 500, Alex." Another said, "It's honestly worse than Democrats. Better to deny Christianity altogether than to use Christianity as a campaign slogan."
He is who without sin.
Yeah. Oh, gee, they were gassed to know that we think sex is reserved for marriage only, according to some of the liberals on there. But a conservative commentator said, "I find the outrage over Nancy Mace stupid. She made a joke. Don't read the room. Humorless scolding is a bad look." Yep. One Twitter argued this, too. Nancy Mace's comments would not have gone viral if she were a guy.
Yeah.
One Young America Foundation said the comments were newsworthy no matter who said them. It absolutely would go viral if a young twice-divorced GOP congressman can't mention it. But I said, come on, I get double standards are a go-to bugaboo for some people, like the freaking Democrats and stuff. But again, I mean, I can't. What a great attitude. I mean, talk about a modern-day ball-busting woman who's actually believes in, intimacy and romance and, supporting a man and, being a couple. Holy criminy. What a great broad this is. I mean, I think she's going up. I'll bet you this soundbite. I'll bet you this story. I'll bet you this story is propelling Nancy Mace into the forefront of more candidates who might be available for a vice presidential spot on the Republican ticket.
That's not the only thing that's going up.
That's right, baby. Shoot the moon, Mama. It's 5:13. Pete's next. Look out. So, Putty Tat Chef may be murdered. There's a mystery, some famous last words, and sports. Yes, it's true. We have Holy Crap at Sports with Pete Davis.
Braves begin that 6-game homestand first with the Brewers tonight. Then Shohei Ohtani and the Angels come to town on Monday. Tonight, Yanni Chirinos makes his first start for Atlanta. The right-hander picked up off waivers from Tampa Bay.
Excellent.
And yesterday, Shohei did something that's only been done 5 times since 1900. He pitched a shutout and hit 2 homers the same day. He did it in a doubleheader in Detroit.
I'm telling you, he's going to be ranked above Babe Ruth as the guy who's done this for. I mean, it's unbelievable.
He will. Gwinnett manager Matt Tuiasosopo will coach third base tonight as Ron Washington is in Louisiana to enter their Hall of Fame. So good for him.
Oh, no kidding. Good for him. Excellent. By the way, what a great. I don't know anybody who has anything but actually superb superlative comments about his interaction with the players and what he's meant to the team. And I'm really impressed with his career and how he's been so well respected for such a long time.
Best coach in baseball.
Yeah, probably so. Yeah.
On this date, July 28th in Braves history, 1982, Phil Niekro got 250th career win over the Padres. All 250 were over San Diego. It was amazing.
But think about that as a knuckleballer.
Yeah, he's a knuckleballer. Yeah.
Yeah.
He went 17-4 that season, led the major leagues in winning percentage, and I think that was the year he was doing Game 1 in St. Louis against the Cardinals in the playoffs, and Braves were up like 1-0 in the fourth or the fifth, and it got rained out. And after that, you knew the Braves didn't have a chance because Yeah. The Marlins aren't sitting still despite being 10.5 games behind Atlanta. They traded some prospects to the Mets for 38-year-old closer David Robertson. So, and there's going to be a lot of Mets hitting. They're talking about Verlander going, maybe to Texas or Houston back again. Of course, Scherzer, if anybody wants him. So we'll see.
Yeah, he just was he 39? He just had a birthday yesterday, I think we talked about.
Maybe older than that.
Yeah.
Padres are listening to trades regarding Juan Soto, who's only had 20 homers and 62 RBIs this season. Maybe the only person in the world that would not like living and playing in San Diego over Washington, D.C.
Well, is he a troubled guy? Is he not happy?
He just hasn't adjusted out there like they thought he would, so he's not having the year. Former Falcons coach Dan Reeves is a semifinalist for the Pro Football Hall of Fame, which is about 20 years too late.
Yeah.
The poor man's gone, and now they're going to do it. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, it's not right.
Dateline, Rainsville, Alabama. Former Tennessee football coach Jeremy Pruitt is returning to his alma mater, a high school. He's going to teach physical ed and coach junior high basketball.
Holy cow. Well, that's kind of a change, isn't it?
He's going to be the janitor, too, on weekends.
Oh, my
God.
Why? It is high school. Well, good for him.
By the way, that's no knock. I used to be a janitor at Handy City, back in the
Is
80s,
that right?
So I can't say anything. I got fired from that, too.
Handy City?
Handy City on Memorial Drive.
And what were your duties at Handy City?
Well, duty was one of them. I had two jobs. One to make sure everything was clean, the garbage cans were empty. The other was to go back when the truck pulled up and unload on the loading dock.
Did you have to clean the bathrooms and stuff?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. God.
And I got to learn how to drive a forklift.
Oh, I used to drive a forklift when I worked for the company that made the core. Well, it's a long story, but anyway, I used to drive a forklift when I was 17, the summer work and stuff. Now, how did you get fired? What'd you do?
They were just letting people go, and which is unfortunate because I had just been fired earlier from Ace Hardware at Toco Hills, and I deserved to be fired from that one.
Well, what did you do?
I'm not. Well, let's just say by our actions on the loading dock, we knocked out the entire strip mall of Toco Hills power.
Aha!
And it involved a yo-yo and an idiot paint man.
Well, I'll be damned. All right, sir.
NBA superstar Kevin Durant. Oh, by the way, they fired me on Christmas Eve. They called me up on
Christmas Eve, ladies and gentlemen.
So don't come back in. NBA superstar Kevin Durant, hence he was stoned when he met Adam Silver to discuss cannabis policy, saying everybody's doing it. It's like wine.
Well, it's true. I guess it's probably true.
I think I'm the only one left that doesn't. I don't know. 2001, six-time British golf champion Nick Faldo was 44. He married his third wife, a Swiss woman named Valerie Bircher. It was a lavish ceremony at his Windsor, England home. They divorced in 2006.
Well,
Sir Nick is now on his fourth wife. Literally.
Oh, my. Oh, goodness.
1963, Stan Musial did something he only did once in a 22-year career of over 3,000 games. What was it?
Let's see. Got called out on strikes.
Well, maybe one of the times. He struck out 3 times.
Oh, my.
Never did it again. Never did it before.
I'll be darned.
Against the Cubs, Dick Ellsworth. 1989, Braves Dale Murphy hit 2 3-run home runs in 1 inning. The 14th man hit 2 homers in an inning, also tied the record of 6 RBIs in 1 inning.
Wow.
Yeah. 1993, Anthony Young commenting on his teammates' reaction to the end of his 27-game losing streak. That wasn't even a big monkey on my back. That was a zoo. And for the two of you that care about the Women's World Cup of Coffee in a revenge match for all those Viking raids, the English Roses shut out the Cheese Danish 1-0. And the cheating commies of China blanked the thirsty third worlders of Haiti 1-0. Afterwards, the Chinese bought the island and turned into a shoe factory. And the Onion has an interesting take on the World Women's Cup of Soccer.
Oh, there you go. Answer.
Dateline Valdosta.
Yeah.
Explaining that even in his deeply ingrained support for his country, even that had its limits. Zealous American patriot Gabriel Bartlett told reporters that he drew the line at women playing soccer. I don't care that they represent America. I'm not watching that blank, said the financial advisor and diehard flag-waving nationalist, adding that his profound belief of the unimpeachable character of the United States and all its global exports extended to cheering on his country in the Men's World Cup, the World Series of Baseball, and even the Winter Olympics, but fell short of watching a bunch of girls kick a ball around. I'm a patriot and I love my country, but I've got to put my foot down somewhere. My father was in the military, for crying out loud. Look, I watch mediocre U.S. golfers in international tournaments. I've done pay-per-view for Americans in boxing matches and UFC tourneys. I even watched the American curling team when that was on TV. But you can't make me watch women's soccer. I'd rather let immigrants in. The zealous patriot told reporters that his deep-seated traditionalist beliefs in America could not allow him to support anything more boring than a war. And there's sports.
There is sports indeed. 524 already here with the Kipper, Pete, and Flounder. Tell me about this food. By the way, we have one more Flounder's Funny coming up in the next section, I think. Don't we, Flounder, or not? Do you have one more? I think we do. Pete, well, you were going to tell us something about what's going on with our food choices these days.
Oh, food choices. I'm so glad you brought this up because we talked about the other day about all the crazy stuff with Doritos coming out with a pickle and cheese flavor and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, now they're putting pickles inside of dill pickles.
Well, now, wait a minute.
And they're calling them Snickers.
For what? Where did that come from?
They're taking a Snickers bar and they're jamming it inside a large dill pickle. And it's called a Snickle.
I don't think that's going to be attractive in any way.
Well, how about this then?
Oh my
God!
God.
You like mustard? You like mustard?
I do. Basically all mustards in small amounts. Yes, absolutely.
French's yellow mustard.
Yep.
You like French's yellow mustard?
Yep, I do. Yep.
Do you like Skittles?
I've had them. They're not. If somebody hands me some, I'll eat them. But I wouldn't go buy them on purpose. But yeah, I know who they are. Yeah.
How about French's yellow mustard Skittles?
No, I'm sorry. That's you. I mean, you can't. If you could eat, if you can eat it with a spoon out of the bowl, then you could also put it in other food. But otherwise, it's just it's a condiment.
All right, one last one here.
Yeah.
Do you like Mountain Dew?
I haven't had that in a long time, but I used to like Mountain Dew. Yes, I did.
Do you like hot dogs?
I used to like hot dogs also. Yes, I did.
How about a Mountain Dew dog?
Well,
gross.
It is gross. It's green. It looks like Shrek.
God. Oh, no.
It looks like little duties that Shrek left behind somewhere.
Oh, well, why would they do that? Oh,
jeez. In fact, I will send it to you. I'm sending it to you both right now. I want you to look at this photo of the mountain.
Yep. We lost Pete.
You would eat.
Oh, there it is.
No, I'm still there.
All right, try. We lost that last sentence. You're going to send us a thing. All right, I'm seeing it now.
Okay, I just sent it to you. I heard your ding.
Gross.
Look at it right now.
Oh, it's Mountain Dew.
That's disgusting.
God, they're green and God, I couldn't put that in my mouth.
They're Hulk duties.
They're what?
Hulk duties.
Oh, man. Yeah, duty from the Hulk. Oh, my God. Thank you, Pete. 436. I came across this the other day, and I thought this was fairly interesting. Sad at one point, and then we'll try to add on a happier note. This was some comments from nurses who worked in places where you go to basically spend your last, what do they call them? The hospices and things like that. Here's one, for example, this lady's remembrance. I'm not a nurse, but an EMT on the 911 unit. We had gotten a call about a hit and run. The cops were on the scene first. Some guy and his girlfriend had gotten into a fight in a parking lot. It ended with him running her over, then backing up over her, and she wasn't doing well at all, obviously. We got there, and she was in big trouble. Her vitals were bad. We loaded her up, and she kept saying, tell my mom, tell my mom. She mumbled, tell my mom, please tell my mom. Naturally, I figured she was asking us to let her mom know that she was hurt. The hospital takes care of that, so I put it out of my mind as we were working over her. She flatlined before we arrived at the hospital. They never got her back. My partner was finishing up her paperwork, and we turned to give her wallet back to the staff. The nurse on duty, who I knew well, was reading a dirty piece of paper. She looked disgusted. When I asked her what was up, she simply put the piece of paperwork down. It was a letter that she had picked up near the girl's purse at the scene of the accident, or the killing. She had gotten accepted into college. She realized then in the ambulance she was asking us to tell her mom that she got into college. Mom, I got into college. And this lady says, that's a deep sadness I have never forgotten. One more. 2 minutes before my grandma passed, she had clarity. She'd suffered from severe dementia for years, but she opened her eyes and said, I found Jack. Jack was my grandpa who died 8 years earlier. She said they were at a ball with their friends. Then she said, I've got to go. He asked me to dance. And then she was gone. Happy at the last moment. One last one. When my mom's friend passed, he had the best last words we've ever heard. The nurse asked him how he was. He replied, I don't know. I've never done this before. He was a wonderful, hilarious man and passed away with a smile on his face.
Well,
anyway, there's lots of ways to go, and I can think of worse ones.
Oscar Wilde's last words?
What were?
Oscar Wilde's last words.
Yes.
You know what they are?
I do not know, sir. No.
Either this wallpaper goes or I do.
There have been some beauties. All right, coming up, we'll do, if you haven't heard the Dianne Feinstein, the episode that happened there, and we'll talk some more about the Biden crime family and wrap it up and some comedy stuff and everything else right up till 6 o'clock with the Kipper, Pete Flounder, and New Nick. It's 5:30. Look out. Yeah, sing me right. I feel tonight. Oh, yeah. Roy Orbison was on this day in 1960. Roy Orbison entered the British charts with Only the Lonely, gave him his first of 3 British chart toppers. He was number 1 in Britain with this song, but it only hit number 2 in America, which I find very hard to believe. It was here's what's written about this. Entered the chart on this day, gave Roy a first of 3 chart toppers in Britain. As an operatic rock ballad, it was a sound unheard of at the time and is seen as a seminal event in the evolution of rock and roll. Released as a 45 RPM single by Monument Records in May 1960, Only the Lonely went to number 2 in the Americans. I can't believe that. Well, the song was turned down by the Everly Brothers and Elvis Presley. So Roy Orbison said, hell, I'll do it myself.
I wouldn't consider it the rock and roll, tell you the truth. That was more like the crooners of the 50s. Right?
Yeah, it was almost it was almost like a holdover from the big band era. It's not really pop. Well, it's hard to call, pop or something. I don't know even what they used to call it.
And a lot of times these songs don't get number 1 because there's a monster at number 1. You know?
Well, of course, that was back in the beginning of when rock and roll was really going nuts, too. And this is definitely not your basic Elvis-type song. On this day in 1979, speaking of music, Joe Perry in 79 and Aerosmith had a problem, and Joe Perry quit Aerosmith in 1979. He got into a backstage argument with Steven Tyler, and it took 5 years before Joe Perry joined Aerosmith again.
Yeah. There's also a story that they were at a party and Steven Tyler was so messed up. They were playing records and he put a record on. He goes, "Hey, this is a great song. We should cover it." And Joe Perry said, "That's our song, you idiot." He was back in the saddle again. He didn't even recognize.
Oh, my God. Gene Autry. I love it. 5:37. We're going to do a Flounder's funny bit. And also, if you haven't heard the Diane Feinstein thing, we're going to play that for you in a second. First, I got this. I got a message sent along to me from Michael and passed along. It's something I had no idea was an issue, and I want to pass it along in case you get trapped into this thing. Another phone scam. Please be aware when answering your phone from a friend. I got a call from a 304 area code thinking it was someone I know in West Virginia. I answered. It was a man claiming to be from customer service, but he did not say what company, only said, "Hi, I'm so-and-so from customer service." And the first thing he asked was, "Can you hear me?" Well, this person says, "I remembered something I saw on Facebook saying that people are calling and asking if you can hear them, then using the recording of you saying yes as a reply and a way to sign you up for all kinds of stuff you didn't know about." So I replied instead. I said, "I hear you." He again asked, "So you can hear me?" I said, "I hear you." He said, "I just need a yes or no." I said, "I hear you." And he hung up. So thanks to whoever posted that story, I probably would have answered yes the first time he called, as I would have. Someone says, "Can you hear me?" I'd say yes or sure or whatever. But now, especially if they don't identify themselves as who they actually are. In fact, I don't even answer the phone if I don't know who it is, and I'm still getting those secret calls or whatever. But anyway, just a word to the wise. Hope that's valuable. I don't know what they can do with it. I guess there's some way of using your voice saying yes to sign up for something. I don't know.
Well, are your ear rockets working now?
Well, no, they work, but they're
all I need is a yes or no.
No. Yeah, can you hear me? All right. It's 5:38. Senator Dianne Feinstein. I bet they know. I bet they weren't playing this. And again, it just goes to show that we need to have some kind of rule about old people who can't do their job. Dianne Feinstein, Democrat, California, 90 years old, and she was in the Senate Appropriations Committee markup of bills. And what that means is all you need to have, the people have to say aye or nay to mark up of the bills to get it passed. And when they came to her turn, here is what happened with Dianne Feinstein.
Senator Feinstein.
Say aye. Pardon me? Aye. Yeah. I would like to support a yes vote on this. It provides $823 billion. That's an increase of $26 billion for the Department of Defense.
Yes or no?
And it funds priorities submitted. Just say aye. Okay, just
say it.
Aye. Thank you.
She didn't know what she was doing. Her staff was saying, just say aye. Just say aye. How embarrassing is that? And I wonder whether anybody saw it. I wonder if you didn't watch Fox News. I wonder if anybody saw it. I saw it last night and immediately texted Pete and Flounder because I knew it wasn't going to be. I'll bet it wasn't going to be on the news. Well, how embarrassing! I mean, it's evidence. It's like Fetterman can't speak. They don't deserve these senators. That's unbelievable. And Mitch McConnell, Flounder, we have that. And by the way, there's a new, I don't know whether it's a conspiracy theory, but there's something weird going on with what happened at the podium, as we'll play it for here again right now.
Bipartisan cooperation and a string of
Are you good? Mitch?
Okay, Mitch. Anything else you want to say, or should we just go back to your press? Do you want to say anything else to the press? Go back.
Go ahead, John.
I'll take it. Let's go back to you.
Go ahead, John.
And he had to lead him away. I haven't heard anything about whether he ever went to the doctor or whether he got checked at a hospital. I mean, they should have taken him immediately to the hospital. It's a stroke. He was having a mini stroke, a TIA. Which my mother had 20 of them before she passed away in the last year of her life, and they're a pause in your ability to do anything. It's just you're standing sleep for a second, and you space out and recover. But again, I can't believe any of this. And incidentally, this we started talking about this morning. I found out this morning there's a new theory going around. If you see, in fact, Flounder, I think tell us where you put that video. There's video out there you really should look at. Where did you put it? You didn't put it on our Facebook
I'll
or something?
put it on our Twitter page.
It's video in slow motion showing, in fact, Pete saw, I think, more of this than I did. It shows Mitch McConnell at the podium, and to his right, to the left of the screen as you're looking, you see some guys, senators and other people, and then a woman appears to come into the picture, and a guy turns to her as if he's saying something to her or talking to her, giving her a comment of some kind. And then she slowly takes her hand and her finger touches Mitch McConnell's hand. And it's at that instant that he stops talking, that he freezes. And it looks, again, it's in slow motion, the video, and it looks as though the guy is saying, she touches him and he freezes. Now, that doesn't make any sense. Electric shock from her shuffling her feet on the carpet. I mean, I don't understand any of this, or whether it was just happenstance or coincidence or what, a coinkydink or whatever. Anyway, it's fun to, if you see the video, look for it. It's kind of bizarre. We have a phone call. Oh my God, is that? I think it says Robbie there. Is that correct? Robbie, you're on the radio, man. Thanks for holding. What's going on?
Kimmer, I just wanted to take up 10 seconds of the show so I don't upset Sophia. But I wanted to say shout out to the YouTubers, especially the Kimmer Show YouTube Mafia. And we're sitting at 31 likes. The record is 34 during the show. I know it goes higher after the show.
We got to get up.
At 30. So I need the YouTubers that don't involve in the chat to smash that like button. Let's go. We want the record on this Friday evening. Y'all have a great weekend, sir. Semper Fi.
Hoorah, Semper Fi, Robbie. There you go. Yeah, we'll get some more of those likes on the old YouTube Mafia for crying out.
There you go.
Now we're talking. I love it. Let's see what else we got here. Do we have something left? Pete, did you have something left? I forgot. I've got my list here and I can't find where the hell I am. It's a team. We did the food thing.
We may have lost Pete for a minute. He's checking on his Comrex.
Oh, okay. Well, again, he's got that storm going out there. Oh, yeah, I'll tell you what. I've people were sharing, quote, the best jokes they've ever heard, unquote, from one of the social media sites. A couple, one kid. This is a kid joke. See if you think this is amusing. A kid's favorite joke was, why couldn't the lifeguard rescue the hippie? Because he was too far out, man. See, he was too far out. Sorry. Hey, new Nick, have you ever even heard the term hippie? Do you even know what a hippie is? Ever heard any evidence of hippies in your life?
I've heard the term hippie.
If I say hippie, do you have an image, a visual image?
Oh, yeah, I have an image.
Long-haired, yeah.
Glasses, the tie-dye shirts, the peace sign.
I saw my first hippie when I had to go to court when I got my license taken away when I was 16. And the hippie was there ahead of me in the court case, and he was barefoot wearing farmer overalls, long scraggly hair and beard and everything, and dirty as filthy, and total hippie, and he'd been arrested on a drug charge. That was the first hippie I ever saw in 1962. And I'll never forget it. I'll tell you that.
Hitchhiking?
No. I was who me? we were hitchhiking. I was going to
say because back then hitchhiking wasn't like it. I mean,
well, I'll tell you a story. I'll tell you a hitchhiking story. My friend David Whittlesey and I decided to go from New England to the Newport Folk Festival, and we had one folding chair. A small wooden folding chair and his guitar, and we stood by the side near the road to get to the interstate, and I sat in the chair, he sat in the chair playing his guitar, and I stood there with my thumb out, and we had a sign that said, "To the Folk Festival," and we got there in 2 rides. From the Berkshires of Western Massachusetts to the Newport Folk Festival in 2 rides. Because we had a sign and we looked, in fact, I was wearing, I can't remember, I just thought of this. There was a TV commercial for cigarettes, I think it was for Tarrington or something, and the TV commercial was a guy in a straw hat, and there was a bite. The guy said, "I'd rather take a bite out of a straw hat than not get my Tarrington," or something like that, and there was a bite out of the straw hat, and I had a straw hat, and I cut a bite out of it to look like that commercial, so I'm sitting there with my straw hat with a commercial. Everybody knew the commercial, so they would say, "Oh, that's the guy from the like the commercial hat," and Dave playing his guitar, and we made it in 2 rides, and the same thing coming back from the folk festival. I think it took us 3 rides to get all the way home. And we hitchhiking, we never thought a thing. I used to hitchhike from college every weekend, or not every weekend, like once a month. I'd hitchhike home. Never thought about it.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. 5:47, time for the 5:45 Pro. Sorry, break. That's right. I always thought this was Elvis. Or Jerry Lee Lewis. Or, who was the other guy? Jerry Lee Lewis, Elvis, and there was another singer sounding
Carl
like...
Perkins.
Carl Perkins, blue suede shoes guy, yeah. Hey, well, this is Gene Vincent.
Gene Vincent, yeah.
On this day, 1956. Gene Vincent made his first appearance on national TV on the Perry Como Show. Perry Como used to be a barber, and he would sing to his haircutting guys, and he had a great voice, and he became a famous star, had a TV show and everything. Gene Vincent released Woman Love the previous month. It was the B-side. Bebop-A-Lula made the top 10. The song had been purchased from a fellow hospital patient when Gene Vincent was recovering from a leg injury. A demo with the song made its way to Capitol Records as part of an Elvis sound-alike contest, and a re-recorded version gave Gene Vincent a hit, Bebop-A-Lula, trying to sound like Elvis.
He was a troubled individual, unfortunately.
Really? I know nothing about him.
Him and the, who's the other one that was big that got cut short in the car crash in England?
Oh, boy.
Gosh, no, it was Gene Vincent. And the other one that did, come on, come on, everybody.
Come on, everybody. Oh, God. Somebody on our YouTube Mafia will know that.
Eddie Cochran?
Yeah, Eddie Cochran, yeah.
I'll be damned.
Sad endings for both.
Yeah. Birthdays, Lori Loughlin is 59 before the college admissions scandal. We knew and loved her as Uncle Jesse's wife, Rebecca, on Full House and Fuller House. Elizabeth Berkley, do you know her? Jessie on Saved by the Bell, and she's 51.
She did that striptease movie.
Showgirls.
Yeah, Showgirls.
Showgirls.
Yeah.
Was that the one with Demi Moore?
No.
So that was striptease.
That was the one with Cher, wasn't? Who was in? No, that was Aguilera.
I'm having a mental thing. I don't remember. I can't tell you. Let's see. 1978, Animal House was released. John Belushi and Aykroyd and the boys. And one more music note. In 1987, the Beatles sued Nike and Capitol Records to stop the use of their song Revolution in shoe commercials. So Beatles said nothing anymore. A quick, I don't know if you heard about this. The CDC is warning of a new syndrome known as the red meat allergy because of tick bites. Now, we've all heard of the other symptom, the Lyme disease from tick bites and so forth, but this is something different, and they're saying maybe 500,000 people are suffering from it and never know it until they feel sick and still don't know what it is, and they did a survey. Most doctors have never heard of it. It's called alpha-gal syndrome, called red meat allergy. What happens is the tick bite allergy begins with a bite from a Lone Star tick, mostly southeastern and eastern states. The saliva has a sugar molecule which injected into the body with a bite, and it triggers allergies like red meat. Allergies to kinds of red meat like pork and beef, mostly lamb, and products made from mammals like cheese, milk, and dairy products. When you eat that food with the allergens in it, you can experience serious allergy symptoms within a few hours. Apparently you can wake up with anaphylactic shock, hives, itchy, scaly skin, swelling of your face and lips, tongue and throat, wheeziness, shortness of breath, stomach pain, diarrhea, vomiting. So anyway, and it's because of tick bites. So just another thing to think about. Also, I didn't know this was a thing. In Florida, the aquarium, in fact, I've been there. I've been to the aquarium in this part of Florida, which we'll mention in Sarasota, the Mote Marine Laboratory and Aquarium. And one of their famous star attractions, Manatee, has passed away. The two manatees were brothers, Hugh and Buffett. And apparently Hugh was engaging in natural yet increased mating behavior, trying to have sex with his brother. Apparently this is quite common between manatees. Manatees get horny and say, well, whatever's next to me is going to get it. And so it's what they say.
Hey, you know what they say? Any port in a storm.
Any port in a storm. A lot of ships in the sea, baby. He said they engage in activity with whoever's next to them. If it's a woman, great. If it's not, doesn't matter. They'll go humpity, and apparently he humped himself to death with his own brother. He says, come on, give me a little something. I don't know what's going on here.
Did they have any females in there with them?
I don't know. You would have thought. Anyway, and Sarasota's near where my favorite ex-wife, the one who actually loved me, and my kids and grandkids, we meet every spring down in Longboat Key, Florida, down in the first part. Anyway, do we have another Founders Folly before we go? I think we may have one more.
Yes, I actually just found this one. This is, cool. Shane Gillis.
Oh, we like him. I think we heard him before.
This is kind of a fun.
Here we go.
All the presidents we've had, I think it's fair to say that Trump would have been the funniest one to see get shot.
Oh, man.
For real. He'd be talking like when it happened. He'd be doing like a rally. He'd be like, my opponent's gay. I walked in, I saw him. I said, wow, this guy's gay. The shooter would be coming out and be like, sit down. You're gay. Get hit. He'd definitely make a funny noise into the, like he'd get hit, be like,
What's that guy's name again?
Shane Gillis.
Shane Gillis. There you go. And by the way, speaking of Donald Trump, he's reacting to the abuse by the DOJ. And again, I just can't believe that there hasn't been an uproar reaction to the fact that the Department of Justice prosecutors and Hunter Biden's attorneys colluded together to get him to escape any further criminal charges, including the kind like Paul Manafort got that had put him in federal prison for 5 years. For not registering as a foreign agent, which we know he did. And he had to admit that he got money from these foreign countries, which means he just admitted that he got the money, but he was not registered as a foreign agent. And they tried to make a collusion by hiding that part of the agreement in the wrong part of the deal they made with a prosecutor. Luckily, the judge said, wait a minute, that's not supposed to be over there. I can't abide by this. It would make me in charge of any further crimes, and that's outside my jurisdictional bailiwick. And she's a person of the year, man. And they wouldn't let him get away with it. I mean, it's disgraceful. They got caught trying to cheat the system again for the Bidens.
Did you hear of the major art movements of the past 100 years? There was Cubism, Abstract Expressionism, Dada, Surrealism, Pop Art, Postmodernism, and meth addicts who pick up a paintbrush for the first time at age 50 and suddenly sell paintings to their father's friends for $1 million.
It's the finger painters. And again, let's not forget the chick, the rich real estate billionaire who paid him $800,000 for one of his finger paints or something, was then put on a special commission by President Biden to reward her for giving money to son Joe, or Hunter, who would then be passing up to the big guy his percentage. It's not the Addams family, it's the Scandal family. Oh, my God.
We have a question for you.
All right, sir, I'll take a question.
The Libertarian Party of Georgia says, do you know any libertarians who might be willing to help moderate a libertarian presidential debate January 27th in Conyers at the state convention?
A debate among state candidates or federal? What candidates?
A libertarian presidential debate.
Presidential debate?
Yeah.
So they think they're going to get a presidential debate in where? Canton?
Conyers.
Well, who else is going to show? And I know they just want to interview more than one libertarian? I don't understand.
You're asking
nobody. I don't think that Donald Trump and Ron DeSantis are going to come to Conyers to interview.
They're not libertarian.
All right, but how many libertarians are running for president? None.
A bigger question is how many are in Conyers?
Yeah, how could you have a debate among libertarian candidates for president when there's nobody running for libertarian candidate for president? Maybe one guy debate. What? He's going to debate the guy, the moderator? Come on, it's not a party. It's not real.
I think your whole attitude about this seems
I'm just being cynical.
It's lacking.
I know. I'm wrong. It's wrong. It's bad of me. It's just wrong and bad of me, and I can't help it. Did you hear about the flasher who exposed himself to two elderly ladies in Central Park? God, one had a stroke. The other was too far away. Yes. It's only the Kimmer with... Thank you. All right. Thank you. With Pete Flounder and new Nick back there. God bless you. I hope you have great plans for the weekend. Have a great time. Hoorah, Semper Fi. I got to go. You're killing me. Remember, we may or may be back Monday. I have to call in every day to find out if they want me to return. Which is dubious every day. Hoorah, look out. Herp to herp. Hoo!